All right, I'd like to call this meeting of the Elko County School District Board of Trustees to order. If you could all join me for item 1.01, that's the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, one nation under God, indivisible, justice for all. Thank you. Item 1.02 is order and approval of the agenda. All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. And we have Dr. Byers, you're online?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure you got your vote in there.
Yeah.
All right, motion passes. Item 1.03, introduction of our Elko County School District Student Board Member, Makenna Curtis. Makenna, welcome. Make sure you got a green light there. There you go.
I'm Makenna Curtis and a junior at Elko High School. I currently have a 4.75 GPA and rank first in my class at the moment. I've been a part of student council all of high school and recently was elected as the student body vice president for next school year. I'm also a part of Coraliers, Key Club, National Honor Society, and have been on the varsity volleyball team for the past 2 years. My future plans are to attend college and pursue a nursing degree, and I'm just really honored to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Makenna. All right, we will move to item 1.04. That's the recognition of top-ranking graduates of the class of 2026 from Elko County School District High Schools. Mr. Anderson.
Thank you. This is a wonderful tradition we've started in the last few years, and really excited to do that as we wrap up this school year. We've done a lot with acknowledging our career and technical student organizations and their successes. We got a whole bunch of athletics things we're going to have to celebrate here soon because we had plenty of state champs and things this last couple of weeks. But obviously, we always talk about our student athletes or our student organizations, and because first and foremost, these are our students. And so today, for this item, we want to recognize our top-ranking students from each school. For the class of 2026, which is really exciting. As is described in the background information, we will give students an opportunity for those who are in attendance to briefly introduce themselves. Makenna kind of give a really good example of what that could sound or look like, and keep it as brief as you'd like, or just give the board an idea of who you are and what your future plans are. And so we will go through in order alphabetically of the school name. So yeah, we'll start going through those. All right, so first up is from Carlin High School, Caitlin Jade Blaine. Hello, Caitlin. So this goes for everybody. So right there at the microphone, and there's a button that says push. Just push that button. The light will turn green or shine green, and then just talk into that microphone and quick little introduction. All right, go ahead.
Okay. Hi, I'm Caitlin Blaine, and my future plans are to attend college and study psychology to become a criminal or pediatric psychologist.
Awesome. Appreciate that, Caitlin. And we're gonna keep going through the list, and then when we're done acknowledging everybody, then we will ask everyone to come up after kind of in a procession almost and shake hands, and so we can congratulate you. All right. So the next school is Elko High School, and so the top-ranking student is, and I actually heard this name recently, so hopefully I'm not too far off. Fatumata Binta Berry. Did I do all right? Was that not bad? All right, awesome. Why don't you come on up and introduce yourself to our board.
Hello, my name is Binta Berry, and I'm a senior at Elko High School. I have a 5.325 GPA, and one of the things that I have loved the most about Elko High School is how it has allowed me to grow as a person, an individual. And really, I feel like I have been able to really develop my passions, which is something that I'm really grateful for. So I have served as Elko High School's president, the National Honor Society president. I have also founded Elko High School's Advocacy Club, which is a feminist club. I have participated in Key Club as well as track and field for 4 years. And just to keep it brief, for the future, I plan to study economics at the University of Toronto and pursuing my law degree afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you, Binta. Our next student, who I'm just going to read their name. They are not here in person and they were not able to join us on Zoom today either, but from Jackpot High School, want to acknowledge Eunice Dominguez, who is the top ranking graduate from Jackpot High for 2026.
We can still clap.
We sure can. All right, from Owyhee High School is Taven Beck. Come on up.
My dream of this Elko community, I want to be like a fisherman, fossil fisherman, and a wildlife expert. So if you do an amazing job to follow your dreams, so if you follow your dreams, it make you so happy. So you follow your dreams. God bless. Amen.
Thank you, Taven. Next up from Spring Creek High School, Justine McDermott. There she is in the back. Hello.
Hi, I'm Justine McDermott from Spring Creek High School. In high school, I was a varsity athlete for soccer for 4 years and secretary of the National Honor Society. And my plan now is to go to Idaho State University and get a bachelor's in accounting. So, that's it.
All right, the next one's an interesting one. We got from Wells High School, we actually have 2 students. It's too close to call at this point is what I'm understanding. So we've got 2 students and those are Tegan Calton and Grace Otto. And so we'll ask you both to come on up. We're going to alphabetically by last name. Tegan, you're first. So why don't you come up? And then once you're done, Tegan, we can have Grace come on up.
My name is Tegan Calton. I'm gonna go to the University of Alabama, get a degree in kinesiology, and become an athletic trainer.
Well tied.
My name is Grace Otto. In my future, I plan to go to Utah Tech University to pursue a degree in elementary education.
Okay. And then our last student, I will be reading their name as well because they're neither here in person nor online, and that is from West Wendover High School. We can give our congratulations to Alan Childress. So again, congratulations to all those students, and look forward to seeing some of you at your graduation next week. And I guess in one manner or another, one of us will be at every one of their graduations in the next week or so. And again, congratulations. And for those who came up to the microphone and were able to speak, we'll invite you to come on up here, starting here with my friend Hillary, and we'll shake all our hands and send you on your way.
Come on up. Start on this end. We all want to say. Hey, congrats. Keep up the good work. Thanks for being here. Keep it up. I didn't know you were that high on a grade point average. Holy cow. Keep it up. Making the trip, man. Glad to have you here. Keep it up. Very happy to hear you're doing your teaching stuff. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. That's one of my favorite part of these meetings is recognizing these outstanding students. So moving on now to item 1.05. It's a presentation from the Spring Creek Elementary School's 5th grade music program, Patriots Heroes of the War of Independence. And we'll have the Spring Creek Elementary music teacher, Laura Pope, presenting.
So I think those kids are all going to be filing in
Back.
from the resource library, so they'll be over here in just a minute.
Sounds great.
Oh, go ahead. You guys can come on all the way in. Yep, don't be scared. Before we get going, hey, kiddos, why don't you come like all the way in front of that TV screen, basically. Yep. Come fill that wide open space that we made for you. There you go.
I do not know if I'm on camera. I'm a little, okay, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand and join us for our national anthem? Please be seated.
Good evening, and thank you for inviting Spring Creek Elementary to share music and a couple of highlights from our original production of Heroes of the American Revolution. This production is a collaborative effort between our music teacher, Mrs. Pope, our fifth grade teachers, Mrs. Winter, Mrs. Mullins, and Mrs. Kelly, and of course, our fifth grade students, who we have a few of here with us tonight. The songs the students will be performing were written and composed by Mary Lynn Lightfoot. Our students have been exploring the American Revolution through both history and music. Through this experience, students have learned not only the events that shaped our nation, but also the voices and perspectives of the people who lived through them. This condensed performance features 2 selections from our program, Roll Back the Years and Minuteman. Through these pieces, students showcase both their historical understanding and their musical expression. We hope you enjoy this glimpse into their learning, but first, a brief introduction to each song and closing remarks from some of our 5th grade students.
The founders of our nation believed all people have certain unalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. They, frustrated by unfair rules and taxation, the colonists choose to stand for independence and the freedoms we cherish today.
When the alarm spread, ordinary colonists became soldiers in an instant. The Minutemen were ready to fight at a moment's notice, leaving behind their homes to defend their freedom. Now we honor their courage with a song we'll try to sing in just 1 minute.
Minuteman, Minuteman, ready, only minute. And the time it takes to sing this song, a minute, man so brave and strong, put aside his work or play, came running night or day. The time it takes to sing this song, and the time it takes to sing this song, a minute, man with musket long, took the greatest lessons learned, face the red hills in the sun. The time it takes to sing this song. And the time it takes to sing this song, the conquer Minutemen so strong, place the British flag on her, shout was heard around the world. The time it takes to sing this song, and the time it takes to sing this song, the Minutemen so brave and strong, put aside his work or play and came running night or day. The time it takes to sing this song.
As we study the American Revolution, we are so grateful for the courage
and the sacrifice of those who have fought for freedom. Their stories remind us that we all have a voice and the power to make a difference. The lessons of the past live on through us. Thank you for joining us.
That was awesome. All right, let's move on now to item 1.06, a presentation from the Spring Creek High School Silver Sage FFA regarding career development event qualification and preparations for the National FFA Convention. And we have the Visor Ty Smith with us.
Ready.
Come on up.
I'm letting these guys do the talking.
Yeah, okay.
Go ahead, ladies. I just work here. They're the ones that are the stars of the show.
Hi, my name is Yuri Bizzetti. I was the 2025-2026 Silver Sage FFA president. And today I have two of my other officers with me, and I'm going to let them introduce ourselves, and then we'll tell you guys what we do about CDEs, which are career development events.
My name is Leah Smith. I'm your 2025-2026 Silver Sage FFA vice president.
My name is Kayla Jones. I'm the Silver Sage FFA 2025-2026 historian.
So in FFA, we have a variety of different competitions, and our competitions are called career development events. And essentially, they are what they just sound like. They're meant to help us prepare for a future career in the agriculture field. They cover every aspect of agriculture, so there's like a wide variety. You can have ag mechanics, meats, floriculture, hits every aspect. So the one I'm going to talk about mostly today is ag sales. I think it's a really important one. It has 3 different components, and all of our CDs have multiple different components. The first is the written test. We have to take a multiple choice written test that you have to memorize questions for and study for all year long. We start memorizing and studying for these tests in November, and we'll take the test before we go to state in mid-March. So you'll take a written test. This makes you make sure that you know your background knowledge, your bases, before you actually go and compete in the competition. This also, the score that you get on your test is calculated into your overall scoring at the state level to qualify for nationals. So after we take our test, which is our written test, then we will do the practicums, which are your hands-on experiences in your competition. So in agricultural sales, what we'll do is our team activity first. You'll get a scenario. We'll get a business assigned to us. Usually it's a local Nevada business. For example, this year it was Havelock Wool, which was a wool company in Fallon, Nevada. So we got to sell their own product. You'll learn a base knowledge about it throughout the year, and then we go and get to sell to a prospective customer. We got industry professionals this year that interviewed us and scored us on how we answered for different customer service projects and different questions that they would have in a real life example. The third component of our competition was doing a one-on-one sale with a prospective buyer. They give you a scenario, a budget, and you have to try to sell the product to them. And by the end of that, the goal is that the customer is ready, trust you, not only because you built rapport and a healthy relationship with your prospective buyer, but most of all, they respect you as a salesperson and want to buy your product. So that's agricultural sales, and I'll let them tell you guys about some other ones.
Hi again. So I'm here to talk about more of the plant side of CDEs. I compete in nursery and landscaping and floriculture at the state level. I placed as the top high individual at the state competition this year for nursery and landscaping, so that's the competition I'm kind of going to cover a little bit more. The nursery and landscaping competition consists of 4 different components that we practice once a week for about 2 hours until competition. It consists of one-on-one sales, plant identification, practicums, and it also consists of ID and tests. So we have a test, 50 multiple choice questions. 10 of them consist of landscape estimating questions, which are basically math-related questions that come along with landscape design. We also have identification, in which we need to identify, there's over 120 different plant specimens and diseases and disorders that we have to identify. That takes place before the state competition, and those points are scored into our competition at state. And then at the actual state competition, we do 2 practicums, and practicums are basically like the actual competition part. So there's about 8 that the state chooses from and 2 that we actually compete in. For nursery and landscaping, there's practicums such as sprinkler control boxes, panels, how to operate them, how to operate a leaf blower, a power blower, landscape design. There's a ton of them to choose from. And so those are incorporated into the competition, as well as a one-on-one sales portion where you learn sales techniques, just like Ruby was talking about with ag sales, but a much shortened version in which you are acting as a landscape owner or a landscape designer, somebody that works in that type of field, and you are selling to a person or trying to sell to a person. And all of those points are judged at the state level. It's super cool, and it really gets you into the landscape field if that's something you're interested in, and also it just gives you a lot of really good skills for real life and in your career.
Good evening. So I'm talking about the Agricultural Technology and Mechanical Systems, shortened for Ag Mechanics. And in Ag Mechanics, a lot of it's hands-on. Of course, we have the written test to identify certain hazards and different symbols within the welding industry, as well as applicable math in the welding industry, and that's only a tiny portion. We have our welding portion, which is MIG welding and stick welding, and then we also have oxy-fuel cutting, so hands-on. And what's the amazing part is once you go to the national level, your welds can be graded and certified on that level, in which from last year, 2 of our members on our team got the weld certification, and there was only 10 awarded on the national level out of 200 competitors. So I want to give a shout out there. 2 from our chapter alone out of 200, 10 were only awarded. So not only do we have amazing welding here and also at the national level, that applies for certifications and scholarships at the national level. So then in addition to the welding, we'll either have surveying, hydraulics, small engines, and plumbing. Oh, and then so we had a sprinkler/irrigation part of it as well. And so a couple of these skills are rotated each year, and then they're all hands-on. They bring in tractors, they bring in the tools, you're identifying parts, you're doing a maintenance task in a specific time frame to see if you know how to do it. You're not sitting there reading the manual and going, I'm not sure how I use this. They give you the instructions, and you need to understand the skills to perform a task in a timely manner. And extremely hands-on. There's industry professionals, and I'd like to give a shout out that we do it at the state level, and once you go to nationals, they give you so many more opportunities, which is where we're taking all of our competitions with us. And all of these competitions at the national level, when you place highly, you get scholarships from those industry professionals, job offers, and it's really helped us. I know it's excelled our career placement. I have people give me job offers all the time for environmental engineering, which is a little bit of a tie-in of what we're doing, and I get job offers very often because of these skills, and it puts you way ahead of everyone else because we know how to do it and we have some experience and a good foundation to start off from. So let us know if you have any questions. There's a lot of competitions and a lot of ground to cover, so yeah.
Well, I can see what your advisor was talking about. He didn't need to say a word. You guys have it handled.
Yeah, that's a skill you developed.
Yeah,
Yes.
no,
Yes.
very
We
well.
know how to talk. Lots of talking. Yeah. Yep. I do
Very
a lot of
well.
job
Board,
interview
you have any
competitions.
questions or anything for these ladies?
I don't have any questions, just good luck. You guys did an awesome job at state, and I'm excited to hear how you could do at nationals. And as you go on and decide if you're going to take any of those job offers or if you're going to pursue other avenues, good luck. We're excited for you.
Thank you, guys. Go fund us.
I was just going to add to that also, if how you guys presented yourselves tonight is indeed any indication of how you'll do at the national level. I think you guys are going to do great. And so thank you to all the teachers who helped these kids get to this point, and parents and everybody else. But you guys are really impressive. So great job and good luck.
Well done, ladies.
Yeah, thank you. We're no longer Small Spring Creek once we go to nationals with FFA. Yeah.
We love handshakes too if you want to come around.
Okay.
So we thank All right, on to item 1.07, recognition of S.T.A.R.S recipients.
Yes, this is our last S.T.A.R.S recipient of the year that we're going to be acknowledging at a board meeting. And she's here with us tonight, all the way from Owyhee Combined School. This is for Dee Dee. That's just what everyone calls her. Dee Dee Dan. And if you wouldn't mind standing, Dee Dee, and just kind of come forward where everyone else was for a little bit. I'm not going to make you talk, but I'm going to read the nice things that were written about you. So this is Dee Dee Dan. She is a science teacher at Elko at Owyhee Combined School, and every student, since you've been board members, every student from Owyhee that's received has been the grand prize winner or second grand prize winner or whatever from the STEM fair. Those are all students of Dee Dee's. In fact, when we were there most recently, giving her the S.T.A.R.S award, I saw. They were still in there. I saw the greenhouse or the homes or the structures or whatever with the different roofing that the kids came and explained to us, and so I got to see those in person, and the kids were just actively engaged in. Was it daffodils they were dissecting that day? Yeah. Daffodil ovaries. There you go. Yep, they were telling me all about daffodil ovaries, and it was really neat and awesome just to be in that classroom. Anyway, so I'm starting to ramble. I have something to read, and I'm going to read it. So this is the nomination that was written about Dee Dee. That she is an exceptional high school science teacher whose passion for learning extends far beyond the classroom. Over the years, she has guided countless students to success in the Elko County Science Fair, including multiple grand prize winners. Most recently, her students earned both first and second grand prize at the 2026 Elko County STEM Fair. This incredible accomplishment speaks to her ability to inspire curiosity, critical thinking, and perseverance. Her students consistently engage in meaningful real-world research, often exploring environmental and plant-based science connected to their local community and culture. In addition to her classroom excellence, Dee Dee serves as the advisor for the High School Science Club, also known as ACES, where she creates meaningful opportunities for students to explore STEM fields. She has also taken students to the ACES conferences, and ACES, the acronym stands for American Indian Science and Engineering Society. So she's taken them to those conferences, expanding their horizons and exposing them to real-world applications and future career pathways. Through the Science Club, Dee Dee and her students have also demonstrated a strong commitment to service by making numerous donations to Hafer International in support of a school in Dadaab, Haiti, helping students understand the importance of global citizenship and giving back. Dee Dee's commitment to students does not stop at the high school level. She is a dedicated after-school program teacher who works with elementary students, fostering a love for science at an early age. Through hands-on projects and engaging farm-to-table garden activities, she helps younger students build connections between science, sustainability, and everyday life. What truly sets Dee Dee apart is her commitment to all students. She upholds high expectations for learning because she believes in the students' capabilities. She invests her time, energy, and heart into helping them succeed, whether that means staying late, mentoring individually, or creating new opportunities for enrichment. She not only teaches science, but inspires a lifelong love of learning and discovery. She embodies the spirit of a S.T.A.R Award through her innovation, dedication, and lasting impact on the Elko County School District community, and she's truly deserving of this recognition. Congratulations, Dee Dee.
Thank you. I do want to give a shout out to Andrea Thomas, my nominator. She's a librarian in Owyhee, and I want to thank the school district and the board to continue with these S.T.A.R Awards. It was a complete surprise to me. All right, thank you.
And I appreciate Dee Dee mentioning that Andrea Thomas nominated her. It's always important to mention the nominators because that's how we get S.T.A.R.S Award. People who are eligible for those is based off of nominations. And then I also want to give one more final shout out to all of our sponsors for S.T.A.R.S Awards as they make them possible because our recipients also receive some gifts and goodies and things like that. So those come from our sponsors from Dos Amigos, Fratelli Pizza, Leanne's Floral Designs, Maverick Gaming, Orla Mining, the Rotary Club of Elko Desert Sunrise, the S.T.A.R.S, and Sugary Spice. So thank you to all of them for their support through this year. And we are done with S.T.A.R.S Award for this year, but you better believe we're going to keep doing it next year. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson, and thank you to all our S.T.A.R.S Awards recipients this year. All right, we'll move on now to item 1.08, which is input from the public. This is a period devoted to comments by the general public, if any. In the interest of privacy and due process, the public is requested not to raise personnel issues except in a legally noticed closed personnel session of the board. Comments are limited to 3 consecutive minutes. A speaker's time may not be reserved, divided, apportioned, or deferred. No action may be taken upon a matter raised under this item of the agenda until the matter itself has been included specifically on an agenda as an item upon which action will be taken. I have 3 comments, not including, I have 2 more for item 4.02. We'll address those during that item. But I will go ahead and start with, let's start with the one you have there, Susan, to read into the record. Trustee Neal, sorry.
Dear school board members, Great Basin College is proud to introduce a trauma-informed teaching course series designed to support educators and school systems across Nevada in responding to the growing mental health and behavioral needs of students. This endorsement provides educators, administrators, and school leaders with the knowledge and tools to create safe, supportive, and effective learning environments. Coursework focuses on trauma's impact on brain development, self-regulation, and system-wide supports aligned with MTSS. Why this matters for your district: it improves student engagement and academic outcomes, reduces behavioral incidents and disciplinary challenges, supports educator effectiveness and retention, strengthens school climate and community trust. The program details are a 4-course sequence: EDU 410, EDU 420, EDU 430, and 440, fully online and accessible statewide, and it's fully funded through SB 165. Tuition and fees are covered. The cohort options are Cohort 1, June 2026 to December 2026, and Cohort 2, January 2027 to August 2027. There's 60 seats available per cohort. We encourage school board members to promote this opportunity within their districts and consider participation themselves to better understand trauma-informed systems and their impact on student success. We respectfully request that you share this opportunity at your next school board meeting and read this email during public comment or your board comment time so educators, staff, and community members become aware of this fully funded professional learning opportunity. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you for your leadership and commitment to Nevada students and educators. Respectfully, Denise Padilla, Great Basin College Elementary Education Program Supervisor.
Thank you, Trustee Neal. All right, I have public comment from Catherine Kelly.
Hey, guys. Long time no see. Hi, I'm Catherine Kelly. I am a teacher and a parent of a 5th grade student. I just want to thank the school board and Superintendent Anderson for continuing to support civic education in such meaningful ways. Programs like tonight's music performance are incredibly impactful to our students. Let's face it, they don't listen to me all the time. But the songs like The Minuteman, and we had songs about Sybil Livington, and we had songs about Betsy Ross. Those things stay with them. And so in a time where many districts are cutting history and social studies minutes and just trying to say it'll go into ELA, I just want to thank you guys for making time for it and not limiting us in the classroom for this. Another opportunity that we've been able to have for that is earlier today in my classroom, as part of my trip to Washington, I got to see the We the People National Convention. And today my students and I got to have a constitutional conversation, and they were given issues in today's society at a 5th grade level, such as First Amendment and the freedom of speech. And we brought up issues of like school board members and maybe people putting pickets on their lawn saying they're terrible people and how like that's not okay. You can't just do that because they're good people. Wink, wink, because I do like you guys. And like they talked about like They looked up court cases from the Supreme Court and examples in our 2020 history in our district. There was a whole lot of freedom of expression things. And they had a conversation about the Constitution and the impactfulness of that and how we're raising civic-minded leaders. And I just want to thank you guys as the board and Mr. Anderson for not doing what some of those other districts have done and cutting our social studies minutes, because it's not about getting to high school and getting to it. It's about teaching them, even at a 5th grade level and below, that their voice matters and their contribution to their community matters. And I just want to say thank you.
All right, I have public comment from Susan Cole.
That was going to be way worse. Hi, I'm Susan Cole. I'm a parent here in Elko County. I'm here tonight because there are too many families in our community who are reaching crisis before we can get them help, if they ever get it at all. I'm pleading with this board, to place this issue on a future agenda item so that you can hear directly from parents like myself, educators, and community providers to begin building a plan that we can hopefully start instituting next school year. I wish that I was standing here with you with only ideas, but I'm standing here with a lived experience. For 5 years, my child struggled with behavioral issues that I could not receive resources for. I pounded down every door that I could find here in Elko County. It didn't start as a crisis, but without the proper supports, the small problems grew into violence, destruction, fear, and trauma within my own household. We tried parenting classes, therapy, school resources, medical, law enforcement, and eventually our only resource was to separate our family and go to Salt Lake for intensive care. And the only reason we were able to do that is because members of this community carried us when we could not carry ourselves. And there's a part of that I can't let go of. And it's that the tools that helped save my family already existed, we just didn't know where to look. On paper, we are the perfect family that should have been able to find that help. 2 involved parents, community support, people who knew us and showed up, and still it wasn't enough. And the damage was done. And I can't stop thinking about the families who don't have that kind of access and don't know that there's a door to knock on. I remember turning to my husband when we were at the peak of all of this and telling him that when we figure this out and when my son is better, I'm going to fight to fix this and I'm going to be relentless. Well, he's better, so here I am, the first public stop of many. After we came home, there was a day where my son sat on the floor and played with Legos. That's it. Just a child playing safely with Legos. But to my family, that felt like magic. Because when you've lived in crisis long enough, ordinary moments feel like hope. After returning home, I became a registered behavior technician because I refused to let another family go through what mine did. But I've realized something very clearly. It is still not enough. This problem is bigger than me, and I'm not an isolated incident, I'm a pattern. This problem is bigger than one family, one classroom, or one school. This is a community crisis, and schools are on the front line. Outside resources are not truly accessible here in our community. There are lengthy wait lists, evaluations, you need to travel to get diagnosis. Helps can be weeks, months, and in some cases, years away. But every child here has a right to public education. There's no wait list to walk through those doors. And that makes the school system the front line. I've heard in these meetings and other public forums state that behavior problems is a parenting issue. And I challenge that and I say, so what? Even worst case, parents are not showing up the way a child needs to. That doesn't make the child disposable.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yep, you're
That's
good,
your
sorry.
time. It looks like you have it prepared, though. I'd love if you'd email me the rest, please.
Absolutely, thank you guys.
All right, is there any further public comment during this period? All right, seeing none, I was informed that we have our West Wendover student that we wanted to recognize is now online. So I'm going to jump back, Mr. Anderson, if you want to handle that for me real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just toggle back over here. Do we have Alan Childress? Oh, yeah, there he is. Hello, Alan. How are we doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you. See, we got some
Proud parents.
Yeah, proud parents
Very
with
nice.
Alan. Very good. So Alan, you know, you get the spotlight all to yourself right now. We acknowledged all the other ones already, but what the other students did was they gave a quick intro of themselves to our Board of Trustees and let them know kind of what their future is and what they're planning on doing after they graduate. So if you just if it's okay to put you on the spot, if you don't mind doing that real quick, that would be great.
My name is Alan. I plan on going into accounting and going to UNLV to get my CPA and a bachelor's in accounting. That's my future.
Awesome.
Very nice.
Thank you so much, Alan. Appreciate you joining us. We actually gave you a round of applause earlier, but you're going to get two. Thank you so much for making the time to jump online and join us, and congratulations for your success in school and your plans for the future. And some of our, at least one of our board members, maybe a couple, we'll see you there at graduation next week, okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
Take
Yeah,
care.
they're definitely looking forward to seeing you. So congratulations. Good work.
Thank you.
All right, we will move back to the consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion passes. On to accounts payable, item 3.01.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any disclosures or discussion?
I'll go ahead. I just have to disclose that I have a family member who works for Wells Rural Electric, but I won't be abstaining from voting.
And I will disclose that I also have a family member who is employed by Wells Rural Electric, but I will not be abstaining.
And I'll disclose I'm a member of the Reading Council, but I will not be abstaining.
All right, anything further, board? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion passes. All right, we're on to our action items. And I'm going to actually take the privilege of the chair here. I'm going to move item 4.04 up here first because we have some folks in the audience for that. So item 4.04 is the receipt, review, and possible approval of a proposed new bus stop in Spring Creek. That's for possible action.
Seth is going to intro it.
Okay, perfect. And I do have some public comment on this too. So once we get the presentation, then I'll go to public comment and then we'll do discussion, if any.
Yeah, good evening, Seth Canning, Director of Transportation. And so what we have is a new bus stop that's proposed on State Route 228 and Sun Valley Road for the Sun Valley Estates. This comes about it's been over 2 years now ago that they've been contacting us, asking if we could stop there. And we tell them, no, we're not going to stop on the highway. Safety reasons, all that. They asked what they needed to do. We told them to construct us a location that the bus could pull into and turn around. And we have 3 other that I know of in Elko County that are on private property, same sort of agreement. They maintain, do winter maintenance, that sort of stuff, allow us to enter their property, and we are not held to any responsibility for any damage caused by our vehicle operating on the road. So they agreed to all those terms, put everything together. There was some concerns brought up later on about a shooting range and proximity of the thing, so recontacted their board. They contacted the sheriff's office, had them come out, do a risk assessment and all that, and everything was submitted to you. We went out and looked at it. Like I said, everything that we've asked for them to do as far as the district point, they've been more than willing and cooperated and got everything completed. So, and the stop will be just added on to the existing bus routes that go out to the South Fork Jigs area. So we're maybe adding an additional 5 minutes a day onto the bus driver's time, but there's no other change. Approximately be servicing 10 to 15 students possibly at this time. And I think their development's about half full. So I think there's more room for expansion out there for future. So just looking to help service more families in our community, so.
Sounds like it's a much needed area though.
Yeah.
For the bus stop.
Yeah, like I said, they've been continuously asking us for over 2 years now to what they need to do and how to get bus service out there. So, because right now, they have to drive several miles up the road and cross the road to the closest bus stop to them right now, so, to get to, so.
All right, stay close. I have some public comment here we'll bring up and then. The first one I had was from Mike Griffith. It just says answer any questions. So did you have a comment or you just?
I'm part of the board of directors and I'm just here.
Here, just in case, okay.
It's my property that the bus stop is on.
All right, thank you. Then I have Brianna Martinson.
That's me.
For public comment. Go ahead, come on up.
Get to hang by
The same rules apply as before, 3 minutes and
Okay.
no
good.
personnel issues.
No big deal. I'm a parent in Sun Valley Estates, and when I moved here.
If you could, please, too, state your name for the
Oh,
record.
I'm sorry. I'm Brianna Martinson.
Thank you.
I'm a parent at Sun Valley Estates. When I moved here, September 2022, I was not shocked, obviously, that we didn't have a bus stop. There was hardly any homes out there. But I was bummed out because I was like, what do we do? How am I gonna get my kids to school? Being a working mom wasn't really easy. And our closest bus stop from my house is 6 miles away. There is more homes beyond my house. I'm only like 2 miles away from the entrance of the neighborhood. And that first year was really rough. A lot of snow. I'm from Southern Nevada. I didn't know how to drive in the winter. So it was really a shocker. And I did try to get in contact with the transportation a while back, and I just kind of gave up on it. Like, I don't know even how to get this going. So there's not a lot of us out here. And now there is a lot more parents out there, and they're really excited for getting a bus stop. And I'm just excited to see that we're finally almost there. We do have quite a bit of children in between, ages of like 18 and babies, so there is a lot. There's only I think 15 that do go to school right now, but it's it's a growing neighborhood, and we're really excited to see some changes and be a lot closer. So, thank you.
Thank you.
That's it.
Is there any further public comment on this agenda item? If you'd like to make public comment, sure you can.
Sheriff Lightorn, Elko County Sheriff's Department. I'd just like to say I've been out to the Sun Valley States numerous times. I've spoken to Mr. Griffith. I've spoken to other people at their reference that shooting range, and that was a few years back. We've never gotten any complaints of the range. I've been out there with people who agreed with it. There was one family who didn't agree with it, and their main concern was the noise coming from the range. It wasn't a safety hazard. And I've been out there. The range sits about 150 yards away from the bus stop, where they're going to park the bus stop. The range is also facing the opposite direction of the bus stop. So the bus stop's here, so the range is kind of going out this way. So to me, like I said, I've been out there numerous times. I've watched people shoot out there. To me, there's no safety concern for the kids. I've talked to the people on the board about shutting down the range from pickup time, when they pick up the kids, no shooting. And they've agreed to talk to them about when the kids are being dropped off, no shooting. So they've agreed to it. And I don't see any issue with it. If my kids were living out there, I would feel safe than being on the bus. I think it's a great idea. From Sun Valley Estates to Spring Creek High School, you're talking probably 10 miles, 11 miles. So it's a good pickup for the kids and the parents. So I would say, please do what you need to do, and the range is not a safety concern to me or others. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Any other public comment? All right, hearing none, how would the board like to proceed?
Mr. Canning, just want to clarify, Sheriff Narvaez indicated that it would be closed during pickup and drop-off times. The letter from Sun Valley Estates indicated no operations at all during the school board or the school days.
Yeah,
just wanted
that's
to
what was
clarify.
communicated after he spoke with the sheriff to the board. He said we'll just not operate it during school days to make it simpler. So that was the final agreement with the property owner and the HOA. as far as what was communicated with me, so.
Thank you. That was my only concern. Move to approve the establishment of a new bus stop off Sun Valley Road and Jigs Highway for the 2026-2027 school year.
Second.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, can I ask a question? I'm sorry. I'm just curious, are the kids, how far are they walking to that bus stop then? Or are parents driving them to that bus stop?
I would
I'm not
assume a lot of the parents are going to drive them because the houses are quite spread out, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be similar to some of our, like Osino, Rendon stops where everybody comes to that central stop, yeah.
And I understand that light has been installed, that.
Yeah, that was an NDOT requirement that's out onto the road.
Okay.
Yeah, but.
So there's
yeah,
no
that'll
problem with.
No, that's just to light the intersection. Won't be for us until wintertime because once it gets dark, but yeah. It should
And are
be
there consequences or any recourse if they don't keep that?
What was communicated is the same agreement we have with everybody else. If we come in and it's not plowed, we're just going to call and say, hey, we're not coming that day or, yep.
Thank
so
you.
they're aware of that, yeah.
Great, thanks.
And Seth, just to clarify, there's no fiscal impact, correct? Because it's just.
No, it's
pull
like
off?
I said, a matter of however long it takes us to pull in there. It's like, I don't know, 100 yards off the pavement, pick up the kids, turn around, go back. So, yeah, we're not adding routes or adding people or adding anything. So, yep.
Thank you.
Anything further from the board? All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion passes. Thank you. Thank you, Sheriff. All right, we will bounce back to item 4.01. That's a human resources update from the Director of Human Resources, Cody Krenka.
Let them get out. I think RJ, if you have a PowerPoint, then I can, I'll wait for it. There we go. And they also give me a handy dandy clicker, so I can't blame RJ, except I'm going to, oh, it does work. All right, so anything's completely my fault. Thanks for having me up tonight. And we're going to go ahead and get started on some of the topics that we'll be talking about, just in case you haven't had a chance to look through this. As an agenda item would be obviously the Enterprise Risk Management Excellence Program, which we call ERMAP, additional teaching stipends, which was provided by the Nevada Legislature. Talk about position comparison, position control in comparison to them this year and where we're at in comparison to the previous years, and what we're doing for staff recruitment retention update. Through ERMAP, PULPAC members are building a strong, more resilient future by proactively identifying and mitigating risks, ensuring continuity of essential public services. Now, I put that on there because I wanted a prettier way of saying what I'm about to say because you know me, and I'm not very good at that. So what this basically is saying is that what ERMAP does is it goes through, it's basically, feels like an internal audit, but it's done by PULPAC, our coverage. They go through and they look at potential liabilities. They make suggestions and they go on our policies and our systems. And that's why sometimes if you think about for the past 2 years, which is about as long as we've been working on this, all of a sudden a certain department will come to you guys with a bunch of a few policy changes, like 3 or 4 policy changes. Department completions, finance department, IT, buildings and grounds, those groups have already gone through. I don't want to say completions because this is an ongoing process. We're always constantly changing. Human resources in the middle of it right now, and then after we are done or almost done, then it'll go to the Office of Superintendent. We started this basically to put, to give us some confidence because we're all pretty new, and as are you, to make sure that we have the systems in place to give everybody confidence with our school board, within our district, that what we're doing is not only a liability, but it's sustainable and it's what's best for our staff and students. This is good for what they're looking for is a liability side. But for me on the HR side, it tells anybody that's coming to this district, maybe a new principal, that we can say, hey, we've done the ERMEP program. It gives them the confidence that they're basically not jumping into something that isn't supported and not sustainable. Does that make sense? This is at no additional cost. It comes with us when we have our PULPAC program that we talk about and renew every year. One of the things that I'm in charge of, so I make sure, is our e-learning. What our e-learning is when anytime our state legislature goes through and says, they'll say, well, all teachers need to be trained on this, or they need to be trained on something. PoolPact, through our e-learning, provides that training. And it goes through my office, and then we assign that training to our teachers. And as you can see, this is just this year. We've had 10,845 completed courses just this year by our staff. Some of you have gone through and completed courses. There are thousands of available courses. There's some specifically to school board. We break it down by categories. Teachers have certain ones, parapros, special services, nurses, custodians, building soups. They all have their different categories. Quite often they have the same courses because those courses are required. If you look up there, you'll see the percentage, like the mandatory child abuse reporting, those types of things required by law. We go through, we assign those every year at the beginning of the year, and then all the staff have a certain number of days to get those completed. All the staff are assigned to their building schools, principals, or they're assigned, if they're at central office, they're assigned to their director. And then those people either, and it's up to the principal, either every 2 weeks or every month, I get mine every 2 weeks, comes through and it's a report of who's done what, who hasn't done specific courses, and then that principal goes and talks to that teacher, right? So these PoolPact ones are the ones that are mandated. You'll see the versus ones. Those are like historically, those are the ones called safe schools. Those are the ones that we get assigned primarily from our health department, because obviously we have a lot of kids in schools with those needs. And rather than say, oh, we have a student having an asthma attack, I haven't been trained, we just go ahead and just train everybody in the district on those types of things every year. And they're all, as you can see, we have bloodborne pathogens. There's refresher. We do have these courses in both English and Spanish, so that depending on the needs of our staff, they can go through and take those classes. We also use this for students, web-based learning, because we have CTE students that go through and job shadow. We make sure they take specific courses to not only keep them safe in their jobs, but they're with, they've been vetted, but of course, they're with in different working environments, and we want to make sure that they know what's appropriate behavior in those work environments. Once again, well, obviously, PoolPact sees that as a liability. We see this as a learning opportunity that goes through Heather Steele. She goes through, and we input those students into this program as well. I have access to who's completed these courses for 7 years. I think PoolPact has them forever. Okay, now that was all one breath. If there's any questions, I know we got a lot to do, but you can, by all means, on any of this, go ahead and stop me. So when you see that we've done 10,845 of these this year, those 448, they might be new employees that started halfway through. They might be employees that haven't done it, might be employees that are out on FMLA and haven't finished, and it might be some of those students. But the students that would be assigned to Ms. Steele, since she's a CT coordinator, she's in charge of signing them up and keeping track of theirs.
Before you go on, just a curiosity question. Do the classes ever change, or do they change if there's some new information? Then do they update the course, or are they just watching or participating in the same course every year for?
Fast answer is yes, because all those things happen. So like the health emergencies, some of those ones are the same ones as last year. It's the same course for you and I because we were here last year, but to that new employee, they're all still in that same teacher category. However, with pool, like FERPA or mandatory abuse reporting, which is required by law, inappropriate conduct, a lot of times those will get updated every year, and then it'll have the year.
Oh, okay, thank you.
And then I'll start those, I'll enter them into the system and then reassign everybody, usually the 1st of August.
Okay, thanks.
Anything else on that one? Cruising. All right, here's a picture of our state legislature that hopefully people recognize that this comes from our state legislature. It's SB 231, which our teachers have been having, which most of our teachers, pretty much everybody but administrators have been receiving this additional stipend for the last 2 years, and then, well, approved in the 23 legislature, and they still have this. It's paid monthly. It shows up on employees' checks as SB 231, even though when it was renewed in the recent 2025 legislature, it switched to SB 500, which is why that's on there, but it's still on their paycheck, still says SB 231 because we didn't want to create confusion. It's the same amount. It's PERS eligible. It doesn't cost you or the district anything. That specific amount comes from the state legislature. It goes through our office, and it goes into people's salaries as part of their salaries. It says administration is not eligible. That means no principals, no vice principals, and no directors, no superintendent. This is strictly for teachers, nurses, counselors, parapros, custodians, everybody except those ones. On the next one is also the Great Seal of the State of Nevada to make sure that we recognize that this also comes from the state legislature, not the district. This one was approved last year and is still, as of like 4 o'clock this afternoon, we had a meeting regarding the interpretation of this one because it constantly is the interpretation of how it's supposed to be or is recommended on being paid is constantly going back between the various agencies, back and forth. We haven't changed anything with how we're going to pay it. This is not PERS eligible. We planned from the very beginning with ACTA because it's only for specific teachers that it would be paid in one lump sum so that teachers recognize that this is not part of their salary. This is part of the AB 398, which is one lump sum for teachers that either teach in Title I schools with high vacancy rates or teach in a position that we have declared critical needs, right? So teachers don't know who, we've submitted lists based on those. It goes and has to be approved, and then we have to go and show various contracts and prove that they are in those positions within the next week or two. Let's say every time I know that we've got it right, and something changes in a different district and they bring up questions. So that's why it says it'll probably be paid in June, maybe as early as next week. We'll go through and we'll email those specific teachers, let them know that, hey, you're probably receiving a lump sum of money and this is why, and then we'll make references why they're eligible. Because not all teachers are eligible, so I'm sure once this happens that we'll get lots of phone calls and lots of emails. And on that blanket email that I sent to those qualifying teachers, I'll probably send it to you. That way you have an idea and maybe have an explanation if you get cornered somewhere about why, especially at combined schools, why an elementary teacher got it and then go down the hall and turn left and the high school teacher did not. Because that would be the case in this situation at some of our schools. Okay? I know. You're looking at me like that's going to be a lot of fun, and I agree, and so does our negotiating agreement. But it's the legislature, legislation, and it's not us, but we're happy to be able to take what money we get from the state legislature and support our teachers, and especially support those in high vacancy areas and that we've deemed critical needs. I just wish that we've done it for everyone.
Is it only certified teachers?
Huh?
Is it only certified?
Yes, it's only certified. This doesn't qualify for long-term subs. It has to be a classroom teacher, and it does go to special education teachers as well.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on that one? All right, looking back past a couple of years at about this time, as you can see, we've had usually about 70 positions posted. As of last week, when I submitted this, we had 38 positions posted and only had hired 5 new people. In the past, we were in the 40s. Obviously, we're reducing positions. So most of those new hires that you see there are special ed, there are teachers. There's a couple people that have long-term sub positions that their position we still needed that school, and so they've applied and they became licensed, finished college, became licensed, and then they got that position. I think we've hired maybe 2 more since last week, so that number might be up to 7 now.
Quick question on that. The difference though between like how many are missing seems to be about the same. So are we in about the same shape going in as far as needs? Does that make sense? Like previous year, you're looking at 24, 27, and then 33.
Oh, yeah, okay. like
see what I'm
vacant
seeing
position.
there?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, we're looking at about,
Or now 31 if you got two more.
yeah, but the only difference there would be, those 70 positions posted don't count those 43. So that's 70 vacancies still in that category.
So we're better off, right?
We're much better off, yeah. So if we go back to that slide, I can see where you're going though. It's like we posted 70 and of those 70, we have 43. And I'm sorry, I didn't
I
make
just
that
wanted to see if
clear.
we were in a similar position regarding like long-term subs and stuff that we're gonna have to go through
Well,
next year.
no, there's obviously much more, and I think I'd be able to explain that better on the next slide. But in those previous years, that would be like 110 classrooms, or if those were all teachers, right? And now we're looking at 43 classrooms.
Okay.
But those aren't all teachers because we have counselors, we have nurses, we have admin, so.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Yeah, sorry about that. So we still have recruiting initiatives. We have our Grow Your Own programs, Great Basin, Nevada, the Nevada Forward. We have a lot of people in the Nevada Forward program. We still do the Patriots to Education, which is the same as Heroes to Education that Nevada started. It's different names depending on if it's Department of Education or it's Department of Defense. This week we've had people from the NOIS STEM program. They're spending the week here in our schools. We've talked about this numerous times, and it's finally got taken off. Dr. Collins at UNR, and they're going to be I think they're at Elko High School yesterday, and I think they're at Adobe tomorrow. We continue to work with our visa sponsorship, which is grant funded under a federal grant on recruitment and retention. We do have visa sponsored people from Canada, UK, India, and the Philippines at a variety of schools. It's one of the things we initiated. It's been very helpful, especially in those critical areas and in those hard to fill special education. We still went to career fairs. We went to 4 of them in Utah in just one weekend, 2 weekends, excuse me. There's 2 different ones on each weekend. We still need special educators. We're really short on speech path. So we still go to those, we look for those. The other thing that's important to go to those is because, I mean, back when we first started, it was only seniors looking for jobs. Now it's pretty much freshmen, sophomores, juniors. They start going to those, and that way you can start getting into their mind. They have an idea of who you are, and that way it's a lot more comfortable for them and for you when it comes time to start talking about an actual placement in the upcoming year. We keep those resumes and those juniors, and especially since we lose people in the middle of the year, then those principals can reach out based on that contact information. We still have the normal online platforms, as you can see. We've done some surveys. The staff climate survey is out right now, as is the NEPF that I didn't put on there. That one's out there. And that's the staff climate's ours, even though the state's requiring it, it's not ready to be. Their climate survey is not ready, so they gave us permission, I think last week, to finally put ours out, which is great because we usually do it earlier. And we'll just give them our results and they'll use those. The NEPF is also the state state survey that they compile the results. I compile the staff climate one. And then the Department of Ed also puts out an exit survey. A couple years ago, I think I was here showing you our exit survey, and we started using theirs, which I regret. And I'll be honest, because it lost funding last year from the federal level. So any of our last 2 years input, it wasn't calculated. And it says that right on there, top of their website, that this survey might not be accurate because of loss of funding last year with the changes in the executive branch.
Before you go on, the work visa sponsorship, that it's grant funded, has that stayed the same, the funding? Like, are we getting less, more, same?
The grant itself, it's a much larger grant, and it's just one category that we get to choose in that grant. So we get to decide that. We figure that out based on what we perceive our needs to be and what type of visas, because most of our visas are J1 or H1Bs.
Okay.
The ones we sponsor are H1Bs.
Okay, thanks.
For the most part. And that's, in my opinion, as I've mentioned to this board before, much cheaper than, I mean, it's better to sponsor that and then they work in those schools for 3 years rather than getting a new employee, onboarding them. And if it's a school which has a signing bonus, the signing bonus is more expensive than the visa sponsorship. So at least this way, we have them for a few more years. Oh, the staff reduction that we were talking about. So we've identified 51 positions for reduction. This includes both certified and classified. We go through and I work with Ms. Stalkey, and this is an estimated savings of about 4.2 million in just the salaries. That includes the PERS, the benefits. Obviously, that is a vast majority, probably 37 of those 51 are certified staff. It's counselor, admin, mostly teachers, of course. But as we go through, we just keep track of it and continue to get number. We haven't stopped. We're still going through finding, especially now at the secondary level, now that registration has taken place. We're looking at class enrollment. So if someone has not had a lot of class enrollment in whatever program they've had for the past few years, and it doesn't have projection of high enrollment, then we have a conversation and figure out what needs to be done.
You know, just to jump back real quick on that, you said we had, out of those 51 positions, about 37, you said, were certified?
On the certified?
But we've had 42 retirements or resignations, so we are not going to have to worry about any layoffs or anything that way because of less positions. We're actually still looking for people, right?
Okay. Yes and no.
Or you have some sort of specialized.
We have some specialized. So a good example is if I teach Latin and my classes I'm down to 50, 60 kids for the entire day. Yeah, you're probably going to have to talk to the HR guy, and we're going to have a chat about whether or not it's sustainable based on the school population, what we've taught and what we're in the past and what we've taught in the future. We'll look at your other credentials, and if your only credential is teaching Latin and you're at the only school that teaches Latin, then unfortunately we'll have to probably part ways.
Gotcha, okay. So
there's
nuance to it. It's not just a straight 42 minus 37.
Nope, and unfortunately that has been the circumstance for some individuals, and most people, to my knowledge, have quickly found other positions elsewhere.
Mr. Prinka, if I may, before we go off that screen, I did not ask you this in advance. I didn't think about it previously, so I apologize for throwing this at you on the run.
It's okay.
The 51 positions that were scheduled for reduction, of those, approximately how many or what percentage of incumbents have continued to stay within the district fulfilling other vacancies? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What
he's asking is if we're cutting the Latin position, did they go and become a parapro or did they become a history teacher? I didn't count, trying to think, not many, not enough to think of. Most of those are complete gone. There's a couple people on that list that may have gone from that teacher, but then they went over and replaced from a Latin teacher to a history teacher. But if then whoever they replaced over here, we eliminated that salary, and it would have been a much higher, maybe it was a critical needs salary. So those all taken into consideration. So we went from 2 positions down to 1, and that's why we still consider it one cut.
Thank you. And I guess to further clarify, are 51 people leaving the district because we've eliminated their position?
I don't know. No, not necessarily. A lot of those people just resigned or retired, but most of that is through attrition or long-term sub or critical needs. Keep in mind on that 42 retirement and resignations, none of that is long-term sub or critical needs. Those wouldn't be a retirement or resignation. I know also that you're looking through, because you guys go through certified retirements and resignations and approve those as a board, and if you did the math, it's not going to be 42. And one of the reasons that is because by statute on May 1st, we offer them notification of reemployment. If they reject that by statute, we count that as a retirement or resignation. It's not like the board can overturn that statute and say, no, you don't get to reject us. You have to work. So that's why you don't see those specifically as a consent agenda item.
Thank you for the clarification, Mr. Prinka.
Can I just ask
Yeah.
if I can think of my question again? So, reduction in positions doesn't necessarily, I mean, I know it's saving us money, but a lot of that is just due to decline in enrollment, not necessarily a budget thing, or is it it's probably a little of both, maybe?
It's definitely both. I mean, a lot of times you'll hear people concerned about by reducing the number of teachers, then we're going to just expand class size to what's unmanageable. Most of our classes, especially at the elementary, are in the low 20s. Obviously, if you only have one teacher that teaches a specific class in Wendover, you might have that bubble of 27 to 29 kids, but then in another town, you might have 14 in third period or third grade. So those types of situations are taken in consideration. So it's yes, we're increasing class sizes because our budget's not where it needs to be. In order, and that, as we noticed, with 4.2 million savings, sad, but it's still not unheard of.
And so
Isolated spots, perhaps.
It's probably too early to tell, but then I know you gave us some numbers for elementary school, which average-wise didn't seem awful to me. But then high school-wise, do we have any kind of idea, like, is it going to make their classes larger? Because
it will.
That's a whole
It will.
different
Some
ballgame.
schools. I'm sorry to interrupt, but yeah, it will. And in some schools, where if someone's left with through attrition, we didn't replace them. So if someone retired in English and we can get by, where they're going to be 30 in a class, then we'll not replace that English teacher, and we'll get by with an average of 29 or 30. I remember. And you probably do too. I remember as a teacher, I had 36 in a class. I had 40 and only 36 desks once. And when I asked, what am I going to do? They said, oh, don't worry, they won't all be there on the same day. And they were right. I'll give them that much. But
in elementary school, when you have those numbers, they are there.
Yeah.
So it does make a difference.
Elementary school is obviously very different.
Yeah.
But you can see the numbers. And of course, those numbers change. Over the summer, we keep track. I talk to all the principals, Ms. Turney, you and I both do, especially at the elementary level. And the principals are strong advocates for their schools. And they'll let us know whether or not, hey, we've got a bunch more kids in this certain grade. We've already been talking to them about kindergarten, because obviously we don't know that until they show up. We've made the appropriate cuts, in my opinion, based on this year's kindergarten numbers. And because it's so much, I don't know, it's easier for us on this side to go ahead and add a teacher than to go and say, tell the teacher they don't have a job in August.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And a lot of principals have backup plans for that situation.
How do you determine in high school, since, I mean, I know grade school, you've got your reduction, but in high school, how do you decide, hey, they now have 45, we've got to have another class period, or is that your decision?
It's usually the
high
principals and the
box to you?
counselors. Yeah, sorry, I keep doing that to you. So it's the counselors and the principals they go through. They have to adjust the schedule. They'll look through and figure out, it's having done the schedule at Elko High School before.
Yeah.
It takes days, not hours. And you go through and you figure out, well, gosh, the only way we're doing this, suddenly now they move class periods around, try to adjust. It's always goes around people's electives, especially those singletons, like your Corlears classes, your FFA classes. Kids have been in there all 4 years. They have to do that. And that's why great counselors, when they're at the secondary level, you want to keep them because they know how that works. And they know if you just change one thing, especially in small schools, it just throws everything off. So we keep track of that. I mean, there's been times, and that's why when we talk about 0 hours at the secondary level, those are tentative, because if there's no way we can get a certain thing in with their schedules, then we'll consider those 0 hours. But pretty tough to get that approved. Usually it's about 29 or 30 is the average.
Okay.
So if you got 45 and 15, that's 30 to me. So you got to figure it out. You can shuffle things around. And we also recognize that, especially the secondary level, things change. I got into that class, don't like that class. And so we have a lot of changes usually in September. Sorry to interrupt you on those.
Sorry, I have a question.
Yeah.
Is that the kind of like the same way that you guys determine if enrollment rates are too low in a class to drop it?
Yeah, that's a lot trickier because it's not a specific, oh, there's 10 in a class. Because 10 in a class in Jackpot, that's an entire grade level, right? So it's in percentage of usually, and it's just where we've seen over the past number of years in relation to how many kids are in the school. Like it's 1,300 kids at Elko High School, but if there's a teacher that only teaches 60 kids throughout the day, it's probably best to either find that teacher a different elective or a different position in the district rather than pay them 100 grand to teach 60 kids where your government teacher has 150 to 180 throughout the
Thank
day.
you.
So there's no set rubric. I wish there was, make my life easier. I think that's it. It's probably one of those awesome questions. Yep, it's there. Anything else? Yes, Brooke.
I have a question. So as part of the way the district was going to save money, it was going to reduce the 0 hours. Who approves whether there's a 0 hour? Does that come clear to district or just the site administrator?
Both. So it does come clear to district. In the past, I've put a lot more emphasis on the principal recommendation. They're in the building, they recognize what's going on. I've been a lot more micromanaging this year. And I have access to their schedules, and I can go through and say, hey, this isn't it, and this isn't it. And it's very tough conversations, but it's even tougher for them. So even though they won't admit it, I think it helps a lot when it comes from me, because I don't have to be in the building on those. But I mean, for the most part, they know that it needs to be an average of 29 for that specific thing. And I think we haven't talked about it in this one. People have specific, like, well, just use Latin because we know how things go, and no one teaches Latin in the district, and they're not going to think I'm focusing on them. But maybe I love teaching Latin, and there's only 15 in that class, and it'd be great. But if all my social studies other teachers are ending up with 30 in their government or 30 in history, then it's appropriate to cut Latin and then give me a part of that workload to reduce that, rather than give someone a 0 hour to teach government or to give me a 0 to teach government. So we also have those conversations, which are difficult because we want to give people lots of options. That's what makes us great and what has been making us great, but we also have to make sure that we're within the confines and the boundaries of our budget.
Sorry to ask so many questions. So if you delete a class, does it ever come back?
Yeah,
Is it pretty much gone? Like, how do you know, like, if one year you say you don't have enough for Latin, then the next year do you try it again? Or, because some of those classes I hate to see disappear.
Yeah, that's up to the principal again. But yeah, a lot of times in the past, if we didn't have enough for Latin this year, we'll still keep it on the course catalog, and we'll see how many people sign up for it.
Okay.
And if we get a bunch, then we'll take a look. It's 25, but first we got to make sure that our requirements aren't crazy. And if it happens to be a low year, because people are taking dual credit English or dual credit history more than normal, and we have lower history classes, then sure, we can let you have Latin for a year.
Okay.
That kind of thing. So yes. The only time that would go away is if that Latin person that's qualified or certified went away.
Sounds like a lot of variables. Glad you're on top of it.
Lots of buckets, lots and lots of buckets. Our principals are doing a great job.
Anything further from the board? Thank you, Mr. Crank.
Thank you.
Great update there. We appreciate it. All right, we will move on to item 4.02. That is review and possible acceptance of the bid for the Wells High School re-roof project submitted by 702 Roofing LLC and conditional award of contract to that bidder. Matt, welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, so we had a qualifying bid of $549,592,000, or $592 for the gym re-roof at Wells. We had two bidders, or we had four contractors look at the project. We had two that submitted bids. They were pretty close. One was, I mean, this was the best one, but the other one was about 640,000, so.
Saw it in the recommendation here, the probable cost was at 400 to 500, so just slightly over. That's kind of.
I think we were just slightly under. I think.
Yeah, the bid is slightly over at 10% maybe, but not.
Yeah, then we had, I think our cost estimate was 550.
Okay.
Yeah,
It seems
so
kind of how things
just
are running
$1,000
lately,
kind of under.
last
So,
5
yeah,
years.
they came in really close. Our roof guy is fantastic when it comes to, putting this stuff together. So we're pretty lucky to have him.
Mr. Stolke, this doesn't have anything to do with the purpose of the bid or the action before us, but just out of curiosity, are either of these two companies considered an Elko County-based company?
No, they're not.
Okay, thank you.
So 702 did the Flagview auxiliary gym roof, and they did a really, really great job on that one.
Thank you for that additional information.
Who was it that did our, the old central office?
State Roofing out of like Sacramento.
Okay.
So they did look at the project, but they didn't submit a bid. Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I move that the board accept the best bid for the Wells High School re-roof project submitted by 702 Roofing LLC and conditionally award the contract to that bidder, subject to the following conditions. 1, that a qualifying protest is not received by the district before the protest deadline at 5:00 p.m. on Wednesday, May 20, 2026. And 2, the timely submission to the district legal counsel of all documents required by the instruction to bidders, including 1, the signed contract, 2, proof of required insurance, 3, issued performance bond, and 4, issued payment bond.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion passes. All right, don't go too far. We got another one for you here. 4.03, permission to go to bid for asphalt maintenance at Spring Creek High School, Spring Creek Middle School, and Sage Elementary School.
So it's actually the Sage Annex, kind of where the old Sage was, in between the middle school and the high school, kind of right there. So what we're kind of seeing with, I think we budgeted last year, 450,000. But with, the world the way it is and the war and all that stuff, we're seeing about a 20% increase on oil and different things like that. So,
and even more at the pump.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all seeing that. So, cost estimate, we kind of increased it about a little over 20%. So, hopefully we're pretty close at $575,000 for this maintenance.
And
Mr.
the-
Stolke, oh, please
sorry.
go ahead.
The money comes out of the capital improvement fund?
Yeah, this will come out of like the pay-as-you-go. Yeah. I
thank
mean,
you.
I think we'll end up matching this out of the county levy.
And this is part of that rotating.
Yeah, the
Every year,
4-year
we
rotating,
budget about
yeah.
that amount towards asphalt maintenance at around 3 different sites.
Uh,
Or I guess this is just the one, but
Yeah, we're on a
I'm
4
just going
years.
from memory.
Yeah, 4-year cycle.
Yeah.
And then we've kind of built it to where it's like very similar square footage. So we kind of keep everything kind of similar and stuff like that. So
So sorry, just to clarify, this is matching the county funds using pay-as-you-go funds? Is that kind of the plan?
It's not the old pay-as-you-go, but we will be applying for the match for the 20 cent levy through AB 519.
Great, Thank you very much, Mrs. Stalky, and thank you, Mr. Stalky.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve we approve to go out to bid for the asphalt maintenance at Spring Creek High School, Spring Creek Middle School, and Sage Elementary School.
Second.
All right, we got a motion, and I'll give that second to trustee Ballard on the floor, just to get everybody on the board. And any further discussion? All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion passes.
Thanks,
Good luck with the bidding.
Thanks.
All right, we got 4.04 out of the way already. We'll move to 4.05. That's review, discussion, and possible approval of a donation of 2 school buses to Carson City School District. This is a fun one.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So earlier, this year, I think, in the last year somewhere. Anyway, Carson City reached out asking if anybody had any, through all the northern Nevada districts, asking if anybody had any buses that qualified that they were getting rid of. So for the EV bus grant, so that's the program they're trying to participate in. I let them know that we had several. We've auctioned some of them off recently, but we still have a few sitting there. So these were taken out of service at the beginning of the year, so we haven't been using them. Typically what we do is we do that, then we take all the parts we can use, and then once that's done, then we auction them off. So that's kind of where we're at there. They're at the point where we're done with them. So they asked if anybody had any. I put out there that we did, and so I'm just putting out there that we just donate them to them for that cause, so they can get credit for that program. And to qualify for that, they have to be a 2010 or older model year. So that's why people are out looking for them right now, is because not a lot of people have those in their inventory to get rid of. So
My understanding on this is they'll take those buses and then they turn them in for a credit on their new.
Yeah, the
electric.
credit's about 195,000 or something like that. It's a pretty huge credit for,
And the actual value on these via auction or
Scrap
whatever.
metal value's been
scrap.
about $500, auction $500 to $1,500. It just depends on the auction and who wants it, but yeah, not much, yeah.
And did they pick the buses up? Do they come and retrieve
I
them?
think we're actually just gonna take them right to the recycler here for them. Yeah, but yeah, they'll take care of that, but yeah.
So it's all a
Yeah, I don't
paperwork
think they're
thing,
gonna bother to
basically?
take them all the way over there, just, I think they'll just do it through here, yeah.
It's more of a paperwork thing, it
Yeah,
sounds like,
pretty
than the
much,
actual
yeah.
physical product.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the donation of 2 school buses to Carson City School District.
Second.
All right, a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Did you have a vote, trustee Byers? I didn't catch it.
Oh, I said aye.
Okay, thank you. Want to make sure you got on the record there. Thank you. All right. 4.06, receipt, review, and discussion of proposed revisions to policy DDG. And Ms. Stalky.
Mr. Chair, if I may, as Ms. Stalky is approaching, may we please consider 4.06, 4.07, and 4.08 simultaneously?
Is there any objection from anyone on the board?
They're all non-action items and similar, so I think it's a good idea.
Yep. All right, yeah, let's do that. So we're going to be hearing 4.06, 4.07, 4.08.
And she's sitting. Uh-oh.
Okay, a part of the superintendent's budget reductions, we decided that we were going to start charging and have a fee structure for our rental facilities. These were 3 policies that we already had in place that we've gone through. We have not yet created the actual fee structure. We're still looking at maintenance costs for all of our sites to determine that. But what we'd like to do is base it off of a 3-tier structure. And this came from analyzing what other districts do in the state, also within the nation, on how they charge for their facilities. And then I know that we had previous comment, and since it's the first read, the ability to maybe combine these into just one policy, and legal did say that that would be appropriate.
Mr. Chair, if I may, before we begin discussion, I feel it appropriate to disclose I work for a nonprofit that rents out our building. I receive no pecuniary interest for that. However, I do receive a paycheck from the nonprofit, and healthy revenue sources are part of my job. However, I will not be abstaining from discussion or vote at this time.
Thank you. How would we like to proceed, Board? Is there any suggestions
like
or
us to
any
do?
comments on any of these policies?
Mr. Chair, I do
Take
feel like
forward.
they could be combined. I feel like these are they're almost redundant or refer to this policy because of this policy, and I don't think that's necessary. So I think if we can combine them and make them one simple policy, I think that would be better.
It sounds like we're on that path, so.
Will the people that rent out a facility have to have insurance? Because I know some of the
Yes.
buildings, like in Clark County, you have to have proof of insurance.
Yes, and I do believe that we require $1 million coverage for the buildings, yes.
Should that
And
be
then-
in the policy?
We can put that in there, yes, and then we also have it on our website as well, because I believe Pool Pact offers that for people that maybe don't know where to go, but we do have that resource available on there. But yes,
Okay.
we can include that definitely.
Just so they know, because
And
that's
and
kind of a
that
big
leads me
deal.
something off the cuff, though, because this happens a lot. I hear this, for example, with a rec district, when you want to rent the field and they say you gotta have insurance. Aren't they insured already?
It may not be for like the minimum requirement that we have. So, like we are insured, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, if something were to happen to the building, are we, because we're requiring them to have insurance, it indicates to me that there isn't any to begin with, or is it because it's of a specific use and our insurance doesn't cover that, or?
I'm not the insurance person, but we do have insurance, but I don't necessarily know if all damage would be covered by our insurance. So I think it's just a fallback.
And the mine makes you, like if you're a contractor with the mine, you have to have a huge amount of insurance to go out there, and they have insurance.
Jeff, if I may, Mr. Chair, where I work, we require insurance because frankly, we don't want to use my insurance. We're going to make them pay.
Yeah, we don't want it hitting our claims.
Yeah. I mean, and that's just kind of the reality of what it is. They're the ones using it. They're the ones that are liable. Therefore, they should be the ones that have the skin in the game. The good news is that through Pool Pact, as Ms. Stalky mentioned, I think it's $75 for $1 million policy. It's very reasonable and pretty easy. And most of these, especially the nonprofit organizations and the other groups that are going to be on here that are not commercial, they're covered at a national level or whatever the nearest state or local level is. They can pretty much just say, hey, I need an addendum, and it's written off pretty easily. We see it almost every time we rent it out.
I'm glad to know that that's reasonably priced, because I'm thinking I don't want to price people out of being able to use something too, but I just said it, okay.
Which I know when I'm referring back to like sports fields and stuff is prohibitive for a lot of organizations. So it's something if we can build in, I'd like to be able to, but because it seems like on a system in that way, the only one making money is the insurance company. But that's, well, we all have insurance, so.
And keep in mind that insurance that I'm referring to is specific to the building that we have. So obviously, our building is not going to be the same as one of the schools' entire athletic fields.
Every purpose is different, so just an observation.
And in policy DHE, you specifically mentioned Tyler School ERP Pro. I'm just wondering, should that just be generic? So if you were to change systems, am I on the wrong, maybe I'm on the wrong item.
That's the credit card
Sorry.
policy.
Included in Matt's suggestion.
I've got too many up here and I'm looking at my notes. Sorry, take
The
that back.
6, 7, and 8 are the ones we're looking at putting together.
I take that back.
And honestly, Board, what I'd suggest we do here is if we have any substantive changes there, let's throw them out. But otherwise, we could probably let this one go and get it back as the combined policy and then really take a dive on it.
That's fine.
But if there's any specific real changes y'all want to see right now
Just that
or
one about the
adds to it, that now would be the time.
The one about the insurance.
Okay.
And my only other request would be that if the suggested tier rates come back, that they be included in one of these, or if it's already in a fourth policy, that again, we consider combining all four of these in together.
And I think I had talked about that on the side, but part of the concern with that was that by putting in policy, anytime it changes, the policy has to change. Whereas if it's as an administrative sheet that's just referred to in the policy, that can be changed much easier, and it doesn't have to be a board action to change it. That was the explanation I was given, but we can certainly add that to the notes on this when we hear it again and get a better explanation.
No, that's fine. I just was afraid that the board-approved fee structure was going to be yet a fourth policy that I don't want our people having to chase their tails around trying to figure out what they're doing. So, yeah, I think that makes sense to not include it. And I would appreciate that, or I would agree with that. For clarification, the tier also includes other governmental and educational entities. Is governmental meaning a subdivision of the government or an organization that performs governmental functions such as political parties?
I was seeing it more as local government,
Okay. When we get to
but we can get clarification on that.
Okay, when we get to the board-approved fee structure, we may want to specifically clarify those political, at least the two major political parties, because Nevada state law requires that we allow access to those under certain circumstances. So just want to make sure that we are covering that. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I have no further
Thank you.
comments.
Anything else further to add on these three? All right, we'll look forward to seeing these back at a later date. Thank you. And now we'll move on to 4.09, which is receipt, review, and discussion of proposed revisions to policy DHE, use of credit cards.
So the only thing that's changing on this policy is as we've implemented the new ERP system, many of the processes that we've done are now, they're not manual or physical paper forms, and everything's being completed online through our cloud. So we had to look at our reconciliation process with our P cards before we would have an actual physical Visa form that would get filled out and signed. But now we're able to upload our credit card records in the system and then shoot out emails to get approval from site administrators. So this is just changing the procedure and how that's done. And then we eliminated the time frame on when it needed to be completed. Before, I think we had 5 working days for the Visa form to be completed. But now, as those are sent out, really, Anna Slate, that's in our department, just gives them the date on by the time she gets it uploaded and when the actual bill is needing to be paid. So we didn't set a specific date range on there.
So just to clarify, the bottom of the red line indicates that failure to submit receipts within the next monthly card reconciliation. Is that a different timeline that what you're referring to as to?
That would just, I'm just referring to the process of Anna importing those files from Nevada State Bank, our Visa cards, and then her going through and sending that information out to the site administrators. That's the reconciliation. So if somebody were to use that card within that monthly billings period, then they would be expected to turn in their receipts by the next time we do the reconciliation for that period.
Thank you.
Anything further from the board on this policy?
My previous question about just naming Tyler, like, because other things we've started to do kind of generic, so if something would change, we don't have to change the policy. I mean, I don't think you're going to be changing systems like next year, but.
I hope not. We can definitely change that to just our ERP system. I just wanted it to be something that was familiar with staff because not all staff know what an ERP system is.
Okay.
So, but
Whatever
yeah,
you
I'm
think
open to
is,
changing it.
it's not a big deal to me. I was just curious, so I'm fine either way.
Dr. Byers, did you have something? I thought I might have heard you.
You did. I was just wondering, so if someone uses their card and it's close to where the reconciliation is happening, is that gonna be an issue? Or are you gonna extend it past that?
No, so if they were using their card, it's just gonna include anything that came on that billing statement. And usually by the time that the monthly billing statement closes and then we get the actual invoice, there's probably about 2 weeks there. So I think that would give anybody an appropriate amount of time to turn in their receipts. I'd rather them turn them in sooner than have the risk of them losing them.
Well, I know teachers that have like 10 different things that they're using, and so I'm just trying to understand. I don't understand. 2 weeks for a lot of them are hard to get things in otherwise.
Yeah,
What
and our
is the
teachers don't have credit cards. The majority of it's our site principals and then district administrators or transportation.
okay? So then, what are the consequences associated? So they don't make it, and then they're required to make an immediate payment, and if they don't,
We will pay the bill, but if someone doesn't follow the credit card policy and continues to abuse the procedures, then we will take their credit card away.
okay, the rest.
Dr. Byers, if I may, it also appears that under Section 2, subsection B, subsection or item 1, that the district will require individuals issued credit cards to sign authorization for deduction in the event of a personal use. So there is some teeth to that as well.
I just wonder about the legality of it as well. So have we put this through legal, or we just have a policy we put together? So there's
Legal
plenty of
has
things.
reviewed the policy.
Okay. See, and I wouldn't know that. So thank you.
Say that's a part that was in the old policy that has already been through legal. That's a part that we're not changing.
And also, I'd like to point out that before they only had 5 working days, and now if they have up to 2 weeks, it's actually giving them more time than what they previously.
Correct.
All right, anything further on this policy? All right, thank you. We'll look forward to seeing this on a future agenda. And we will move now to item 4.10. That's receipt review, discussion, and approval of final budget for fiscal year 2026 to 2027 school year, or possible action.
Let me just get my presentation up. Okay, so I believe it was about a month ago that we reviewed the tentative budget. This budget has been approved by the Department of Taxation and does meet all the requirements of NRS. I'm bringing it here today for your final approval and then also to get signature and moving forward. The only concrete change that we actually had was that we increased expenditures in the capital improvement fund, as we just recently finished our draft capital improvement plan and the expenditures had to match that. So we increased the expenditures, I believe, to, I want to say 9 million.
Which is from 9 million from what?
I believe it was like 5.
So it's a significant increase.
Just to confirm that capital improvement is not part of the general fund, which is.
No, it's our pay-as-you-go, and then a portion of that is the matching from the AB 519 20-cent tax levy. So the budget is due to the Department of Taxation by the end of May. We will then go through our official audit. I believe that IBEDLI is going to be on site in September, and then our audit is due in October. And after that, we'll have our true actual ending fund balances from FY25 so we can augment, or FY26, so we can augment the FY27 budget and then have a better idea of what our beginning fund balances are. And then we're always able to, it's not mandatory, but we are able to do a final augmentation of our budget, which is due by June 30th. This is just a bar chart that I've presented previously that spans from FY22 to FY27. And you can see that there's a clear trend in FY22 and FY23, and notably FY25, our expenses outpaced our revenues. FY25 represents the peak variance that ultimately forced our current course of correction, where expenses reached $127.8 million against our $120 million in revenue. Because of the proactive measures that we're making, we're stabilizing expenditures in FY27, bringing it back down to $115 million. And then we're projecting our revenue at $122 million. So on paper, the state has given us an increase adjusting our base per pupil funding up by $87. This is moving it from $11,658 per student in FY26 to $11,745 in FY27. However, this marginal increase is completely wiped out by two competing forces. First, our certified enrollment dropped from 9,284 students in Q2 FY25 to 8,956 in Q2 FY26. Fewer students technically means less funding for the district, regardless of that tiny bump. Second, on the right, you can see that there's a scale. We have the constant operational costs that are being hit with inflation. We have our insurance, which everybody in the nation is facing higher insurance costs, which we did make some changes at our last board meeting. And then we also have our mandated merit increases for staff. So this pie chart shows us this is just the general fund. 72% of our entire general fund is dedicated exclusively to salaries and benefits. Other costs, which are essential is 13%, $15.6 million. This includes professional services, utilities, and supplies. Then 10% of our general fund goes to interfund transfers, which is about $12.5 million. And this is transfers to other funds, including SPED, our insurance fund, and then there's smaller portions that will go into some of our weighted funds. We have budgeted a 5%, $5.6 million ending fund balance to serve as the fiscal buffer for the end of FY27.
Ms. Dahlke, before we go off this page, just to confirm, the 15.6 million or 13% is the only thing that we really have any access and control over, correct?
Correct. But if
transfers must occur, ending fund balance must happen. Our collective bargaining agreement has locked in the 72%, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No,
Please,
you're
you started
okay.
saying something. Okay, thank you.
So we did have the $15 million realignment that we've been working on together to get towards the end of FY27 and work towards having a 5% or the 4% ending fund balance. With that, our largest lever was pausing hiring on vacating positions as enrollment declined, also scaling our total FTEs down. We've scaled back our administrative support staff at the district level. We've instituted a temporary pause on new textbook adoptions for the current cycle. And lastly, we reviewed all programs and we implemented substitute rate substitutions and made additional insurance modifications to land at our FY27 budget. So at the district, we do believe in supporting our staff. As Cody mentioned, we cover the full employee health insurance premium, heavily subsidize our dependents. The reality though, however, is that despite recent premium increases, this is going to be an ongoing effort, which we've discussed. Our total insurance costs have reached 25.2 million, and we're projecting, without the current changes that we made, our projection was 7.9. So I believe we were estimating now a negative $3 million deficit. And just as of today, I did pay back an additional $300,000 to the deficit in the health insurance fund. So we've brought the 7 million down close to 4.9 million.
Ms. Dahlke, if I may, why does the budget still show a $7.9 million ending fund balance deficit if we're budgeting for these others?
Because it was approved by taxation already, so I'm going to make the change in December in the augment.
Okay.
So because we do offer and we subsidize our dependents, the general fund is forced to transfer millions of dollars over to cover the gap. This next slide, did you have a question, Jeff?
No, I'm just going to make the comment that this is all part of the final budget that isn't final, that we're setting a budget without even knowing where we're starting.
The final is just a
And
best
that's-
projection.
That's by state law. So I'm just shaking my head a little every year.
Yep, these are all projections. The next slide is our targeted student support funds. The first one is the English Learner Fund. This fund sits at 2.46 million, a decrease of 191,000. 98% of the funding in this fund is directly associated with personnel. We are maintaining a 10% ending fund balance just because we have seen fluctuations between our EL and at-risk funds as the student weights have changed. At risk, the allocation increased by 425. That just shows you the volatility of these funds and how the student counts shift. So now it's going to be at 1.91 million. 51% of this directly goes to positions. Strategically removed communities and schools into the fund to intentionally relieve the general fund pressure. And then special education total expenditures are 14.2 million. 5.4 million comes from state funding, state SPED, and then 6.8 million is local SPED funding that we receive. 90% of this goes to student-facing personnel. And then just due to the high cost, it does require about a 2 million transfer in from the general fund.
Sorry, you listed how much the other ones increased or decreased. What about special education?
SPED stayed at 6.8, so
it's the same.
It stayed flat. Cody already discussed SB 231. We received 3.69 million. This is the same revenue, the same amount of revenue that we've received since the bill was stated. And we've been maintaining, we haven't really received any guidance on fluctuating the amount that we give to people. But this is another legislative fund that they put into the auxiliary fund. So what we've been working on, we did execute a necessary $15 million reduction to align with our 8,495 projected enrollment, our average daily enrollment. Despite the cuts, 72% of the general fund and upwards of 90% of the specialized funds do remain preserving classroom personnel and student-facing roles. The deficit in the insurance fund is something that we're going to keep working on. I feel like we've made strides this year to try to get that paid down, and it's been my goal to get it paid down within the next 3 fiscal years, and I think we're on track for that. And then again, as we move forward, just looking into the next legislative session and seeing how our per pupil student increase amount, if it's going to increase more or what that's going to look like. And that's all I have for you guys. So if you have any questions on the budget.
Cassie, if we were to indicate the transfer of the 7.9 million and put in a deficit general fund amount, what would happen?
We would be on fiscal watch by the Nevada Department of Taxation. We'd be in the same position that Douglas County is in right now, where we would have to come up with a plan, which we've already been proactive, and that was the whole purpose of being proactive, was we may be in that situation. And if so, we could actually show that we're cognizant of what's going on and making strides to fix that. But the Department of Taxation would be looking for corrective action and then monitoring us. And just as Douglas has been doing, they've been selling assets, they've been reducing staff, they've been cutting programs. They have not received any fiscal aid or relief from the state. They are being forced to make decisions to get their budget in balance.
And if I'm understanding the timeline correctly, by June 30 of 2027, if our budget is perfect and we don't spend any less or more and we don't earn any less or more, we will be in a negative deficit because there's no other option. So we'll be in a fiscal state at that point, correct?
For FY27?
At the end of FY27, yes.
If FY26 ends in a negative fund balance. Right now, our general fund ending fund balance is 8 million after our payroll for this month. But right now, we have a transfer needed to 6 million into the special education fund. Our insurance fund still has a $5 million deficit. And we still have some smaller weighted funds like Gifted and Talented where the state doesn't provide adequate money to fund that program. So we transfer in about 40,000 there. So there's smaller funds that require transfer-ins too.
But that won't be apparent until our audit is completed sometime in December?
Correct. I could probably give a close number in June, but the actual audited number won't come until October.
So the audited number is in October, does it? Because it starts in August. And we get it in October and then we augment in December. Is that where I got the December date from?
So ideally you'll be here September. And then October is when the audit is due. And then, yeah, we have to augment by the end of December.
And so if in October, our audited numbers show that we're in a deficit, the provisions that you've indicated Douglas County is already going through immediately kick in?
When we submit our December augmentation and taxation reviews that, then they will be contacting us.
That must be the December date I was thinking then. Okay, and, okay, thank you. I'll rest for now and give somebody else the opportunity to talk.
I have a question. I have a couple, and I'm not sure why I didn't ask them last time, but I didn't, so that's okay. I just want to make sure I understand the amount of students you came up with. So it's 575 students less for next year. Do I have that right? And how did you decide on that number?
So I looked at what we were actually getting paid for, and then I did an enrollment analysis for the last 5 years to determine that on average, we've been losing close to 250 to 300 students per year. So then I made a more conservative estimate that we would be losing more than that, just so in the case when we go through our true ups that we weren't having to send back $250,000.
So it's better to have too many of those than, sorry, I'm not explaining that right.
It's okay, but when we go through the true up process, and then if our enrollment is actually higher than what it was from the previous quarter, and we're budgeting revenues based on a higher amount, then our payments coming in will actually be increasing. So that would be increased revenue that's unbudgeted that we can then align towards contingency, ending fund balance, other programs.
Okay. And then on page 53 of the PDF.
Of the PDF? What fund is that, Susan?
Oh, I don't know.
My 53 is gifts and donations on the bottom.
Yeah. I just need clarification for myself.
Thank you.
Okay. So under the donation row, so why is there such a big difference between the 86,000 to 20,000? Like the tentative approved is 20,000? Is that something you just
So
come
I'm
up
on
with?
special education. I don't know if we're on the right.
Actually on page 53, right? Susan, it's 53 at the bottom of the page.
Oh, sorry.
Okay,
I'll get it straight.
53, gifts and donations. The 20,000?
Yeah, I'm just wondering how you come up with, like, the actual year was 86 and now,
So we received around 86,981, but I left it at 20,000 being conservative because I can't foresee what donations we're gonna get in the next fiscal year, so I just keep it at a low number.
okay. And the donation for the intramural sports,
That went into the general fund.
thank you. Okay, and then 59?
Yeah,
Let me see if I
the intramural donation, it's on mine on page 5. The donation went into there. And then what was the other one, Susan?
I'm trying to get my page number straight.
It's okay.
So 59 on the PDF. No, on the actual document, 61 on the PDF, right?
Just go by this number.
I'll get it straight.
Okay, the 100,000?
Yeah, I was just wondering that row, why those donations, so those fall under special revenues and not gifts and donations?
Mm-hmm.
And so what's the difference?
Donations, we put in the gifts and donations, and that would be like, it depends on the purpose, like within our chart of accounts. So like the intramural, we put into the general fund. It was a donation because we pay out of the general fund. A lot of times if we get donations, say like West Wendover, the city, when they donate to the school, we'll put those donations into the gifts and donations. Other special revenue, that is for our incentive grant. We have the geothermal, but we also, when we get private grants, we don't put those, we put those in this fund. This is Fund 270. And then if we get any private donations within there that have a specific purpose that are tracked, we might also put them in there as well. So
So our geothermal is a donation?
no, but that's this whole fund, the other special revenue, it contains multiple items.
And sorry, you've probably
kind
answered
of
this
like,
before. Why
It's
do
like
we
the
have
kitchen
money?
sink of everything that doesn't fit in
Okay.
to another fund.
So, and you've probably said it before, and I just don't remember. Why do we have money in a geothermal account?
So that was in the hopes that the line would get fixed. We were in a partnership with other local governments that they contributed to until the line failed. And we've held that money in hopes that maybe in the future we would get a grant or something else that we could use it for in order to fix that.
And if I may, Susan, legally, we wouldn't be able to transfer it out until the entire cooperative is dissolved. We're required to hold that money. It's a maintenance thing.
So the money that's in there was built up over time based off of contributions from those entities for the maintenance and upkeep of the geothermal line. And so right now, all but one entity besides us has withdrawn from that agreement, but we still have that agreement in place with the ECVA. And they remain there because they also remain hopeful that we will have a path forward with the geothermal in due time.
So how much money is in that account?
There's like $55,000 in there right now.
That's it?
Yep.
Oh, I'm just thinking over the course of years, that's not very much money saved.
Well, it hasn't been in operation since, I think, 2018 or 19. And so the money that was put in there each year, it wasn't like this is my understanding anyway, it didn't just like keep stacking up into tons and tons of money. It was as a function of to what percent or extent an entity got usage out of that, they would pay a percentage to go towards the maintenance and upkeep costs. And so we were constantly doing maintenance and upkeep every year. And so it wasn't meant to be a profit generating account, rather enough to do the required upkeep every year. So it, you know, it had at, I don't want to say at most, but until recently, you know, it had in $100-something thousand in it, kind of thing, just for us to be able to keep putting that maintenance towards it that was needed. But with no usage happening, therefore no more revenue was coming in, some minor maintenance was still occurring so that it wouldn't flood streets and areas and things like that. But for the most part, with that being shut off, there was very little that had to go into that anymore.
So there was 100,000, and because we needed to do maintenance, now there it's down to 55. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know what the number was before, but
Roughly,
it, yeah, it has slowly. Recently, there was when we were in our last effort to get that going again, there were some engineering costs that went into it, and so some of that money that has gone out of it since then was mostly towards that.
Okay.
We are still actively pursuing ways of trying to get that going again.
Okay. Thank you.
Board, anything further?
Sure. Nevada Revised Statute 354.598 says that we must pass this budget, or at least a final budget, so we have the opportunity to make any changes back to our staff. I want to be very clear. I appreciate Ms. Stalkey and her team, as well as the rest of not only the administrative staff here at Central, but also our staff and collective bargaining units. When I call out the 72%, that's not to say that I believe that that's something that should be touched. I'm making it very clear that we can't touch it. So when I say that, I want to be very clear with that. Because 354.598 requires a passage by a majority of the board, I want to just ensure that my objection, which has, again, nothing to do with staff, doesn't create a majority of a negative vote. So I'm just letting the rest of the board know I will be voting against this motion because this is a ridiculous exercise. This is something that the state has forced upon us. This is not allowing us to have the free will that the citizens of Elko County have voted us to have. And therefore, I'll be saying, once again, this is a fake process, and I'll be voting negative. If Dr. Byers and or two others of you are also going to vote negative, please let me know so that we're not violating state law, and I'll gladly fall upon my righteous sword if I must in order to adhere to Nevada Revised Statute 354.598. Sorry, I'll get off my soapbox now.
Can I just ask, by voting negative, what purpose are you serving? Like, it's not going to change the process.
You are absolutely right. It serves no purpose whatsoever.
Okay, thank you.
But it also tells the state this was not a unanimous vote. And if
They'll be watching this meeting going, Matt voted no.
Exactly. That is the power that I have. And yes, it is, I understand where you're coming from, but if we continue to just sit back and vote because that's what they tell us we have to do, well, that's what we're going to continue to get. So it is probably a token vote. In fact, I am certain it is a token vote, but it is my token vote to be able to give.
You never know.
I'm happy you're able to do that, and I just want you to know that this will be a sticking point for me going forward with the legislature in this next biennium. Maybe I'll refer back to your token vote. Who knows? We'll see if that can help us later on. Dr. Byers, you had something?
I was just asking, what if we did vote? You know, Matt, did you go so far as to see what if we voted no on this? What happens? The board decides, hey, we're not going to go forward. I don't remember.
354.598 doesn't indicate what the consequence of it is. However, in previous conversations with our legal team, we would be in violation of the oath of office that we have all sworn to uphold. And as such, would then face potential civil and/or criminal recriminations, including recall at the very easiest. But that's my recollection. I am by no means an attorney, and I have not studied all of the Nevada revised statutes to indicate what could be the potential consequence.
I guess what are we voting for then? We're voting that we approve this, or we're voting that we've seen it?
No, we have to vote that we are approving the final budget. Yep.
That we can't change.
Well, we could, but then that puts our staff into a position of potentially violating law as well, but also of immediately calling the state of Nevada down upon us instead of kicking the can 5 months and hoping for a miracle.
I think
That
I'm
just seems to be-
curious what changes are wanting to be made.
Well, one thing I would submit there too, folks, is that we had a tentative budget presented a few meetings ago, and if there were objections to it, that was the time to do it. I'm not saying you can't do it now, but I am going to point out that this budget has been before us for several meetings now.
Absolutely. And I objected to it then.
No, I remember.
And to Ms. Stalky's point, I would be perfectly happy if this budget showed a deficit, because that's real. That's the situation we're in. Unfortunately, we can't legally have a deficit budget, and that's why I said that in order to force our staff to do the changes that we need, we are now asking our staff to violate state law, which I feel is wholly inappropriate. So the changes that I would like to see is real numbers. These are fake numbers. We are saying that we are going to have a budget that has a positive ending fund balance, which is fake. It's impossible to do. And so the changes to make would be make it real, and we can't do that. So that's the only change that I would make. And yeah, to your point, I think I said that previously, and since the state of Nevada Department of Taxation approved our tentative budget, I'm assuming, Ms. Stalky, they didn't give any of the statements that I had requested that they give. I didn't think so. So since they passed it and didn't say, yep, we realize it's fake, then again, I'll object strenuously.
Well, I'm right there with you. I mean, if the fact that we have to go into this not even knowing what the opening fund balance is comedy at its best. I know, though, that the budget as laid out, if the numbers go how we want, it is the direction we want to go, from what I've seen. So aside from not knowing what the starting and ending is, but the in-between, at least for me, looks appropriate.
Absolutely. And again, my objection has nothing to do with the staff's efforts, with the county, for that matter, the citizens' efforts of coming in with donations and meeting the district in various ways that they have, the actions that this board has taken. That is not to say that I don't appreciate and I don't commend all of that. My opposition vote is against the process. It's against the legislature. It's against the Department of Taxation, because this is a ridiculous process. And I'm not going to vote for this ridiculous process tonight, I hope.
All right.
I'd just like to finish because I'm on Zoom, is just that Matt has articulated what my objections are as well. And so, we continue to propagate the nonsense, and we continue to propagate this stuff through the state, and until the state learns that, and we can actually have real numbers in front of us like it's a business, we'll continue to have these problems. So especially as they continue to make the leeway in finances for the district be as slim as they are, as they continue to try and draw down and suck out as much money outside of wherever they feel it needs to be. We're going to continue to have this problem. So I think, other than what I've stated, I think Matt has articulated what it is, but I understand that, decorum continues to be met, and we'll do that, especially when NRS is involved.
So having had this conversation, um, obviously what we need to do is talk to our legislators and, let them know we have major issues with the process, the Department of Taxation, everyone say, we would like real numbers before you ask us to give you a real budget. Our staff has done an amazing job preparing this for us. It is what we have in front of us, and therefore I move that we approve the final budget for FY 26-27 school year.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second on the floor for the budget. Any further discussion? All right.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
go
for
ahead.
the-
Trustee
just for the
Ballard?
record, I completely agree with what Matt has said. I completely agree with what Josh has said. I completely agree with what Teresa has said. I know Cassie tried to do this budget different, was told no by the Department of Taxation. They told her how she had to do it. She did what they asked. They've approved it. But I agree. I think the process is flawed. And I think there are lots of things that need to be reworked and different changes that need to be made in order for this all to be a more accurate representation of what our budget is and where we're at as a district.
I'm right there with you too. I'd love to take those, the Spring Creek fifth graders with me to throw some tea in Lake Tahoe, But here we are. So I will go ahead and call us to a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay. Thank you
Aye.
for the 4 aye votes that I was able to vote nay
And
on.
Chair votes aye. Motion passes. Thank you,
you.
Ms. Stalky.
Thank you, Cassie.
Thank you, Cassie.
All right, we're on to 5.01. Is everyone okay proceeding? Do we have a lot, or should we try and power through, or should we take a 5 minute?
The alarm earlier was not your 3 minutes, by the way.
If I have a lot, Jeff, why have I been a lot in the past or something?
I wouldn't mind a bathroom break if that's all right.
If you need a break, we can take a break.
Let's take 5 minutes, folks. We'll go 8:05 on the clock there. We'll start. online. All right, I'll call this meeting of the Elko County School District Board of Trustees back to order. Item 5.01, the superintendent's report. Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, sir. I will say, I forgot to mention to you all beforehand, my apologies, I left the meeting for a little while. One of my children was part of an award ceremony at Elko High School, so I went over. I had some spies on the inside that let me know when I needed to head over to catch the award. So congratulations to my son on being an excellent cellist in the orchestra. So well done, Eli. Yeah, thanks. Congrats to him. All right, so but I did come back just in time for that amazing display of Matt McCarty. All right, moving on. From the superintendent's
A group effort, sir.
It was, well, led by, I don't know, whatever. He doesn't take offense to it, so I don't mind saying it. All right, so let's see, some items I just want to cover real quick. The last 2 weeks, I just want to address this real quick, and we had two different needs for emergency response procedures at Spring Creek Middle School and Adobe Middle School. Those, were threats of two different threats of two different types. And first and foremost, I want to acknowledge and demonstrate gratitude for all of our school staff, our school administrators, our teachers, and everybody who from at those school sites who jumped in and did exactly what they drill to do and train to do every time we do one of those. Those are not fun situations to be in as a staff member. I've been in those both as a teacher and as an administrator, and they are stressful, but everyone handled those situations exactly as they ought to. So kudos to our school staff. I also want to thank our local emergency response personnel, our law enforcement entities, and everybody from those community entities who showed up promptly to assist in the enactment of our EOP, or our emergency operations plan. There were some comments and assertions that maybe like, shouldn't you have a plan for this type of thing? And the answer is yes, and we do. And everybody did exactly what the plan says. What happens in these plans, and we did put out a message, but I want to make sure that I just kind of highlight a few of these things. What happens in the emergency operations plan is outside of drills, so like the actual scenarios, the school district automatically notifies law enforcement in pretty much all these cases. And any entity that is available and is relevant to such a call would show up. And pretty much the moment one of them shows up, they outrank anybody who works for the school district, right? I am the chief executive of our school district, and the moment a lieutenant shows up, or the moment the county fire chief, or the moment the emergency operations or the emergency management personnel show up, I lose all authority for that type of decision making, even though I'm the school district superintendent, because those are the most qualified and prepared personnel to handle what is called incident command in those situations. And so what happens is this emergency operations plan, which is developed in conjunction with all of these emergency personnel, we get together. Whoever it is that takes over in that situation, starts to be the commander of that incident, and they assign people things to do. And so from there, the school district's role is to do what they're told to do by these people. And so that could be anything from what type of communication to send out to whom and when. It could be when to take a school off of lockdown, or reduce a school's status from lockdown to lockout, or it could be changing that in any certain way. It could be what to communicate to teachers in their classrooms through the appropriate methods that we have. There are really any number of things that they could ask us to do. And so in those scenarios, we are following very closely the instructions of our emergency personnel who take role of incident command. And so I want to, again, thank them for what they did. During those active situations, schools and first responders, we follow those operation procedures and response protocols closely. The plans are intentionally not entirely public-facing, and that is for the safety of our students, staff, and responders. Also very important to know is following these events, our agencies and our district personnel participate in what we call a debrief to review how we did and identify areas for continued improvement. What's important about that is our emergency operations plan is a very general operations plan. It is meant to put us in position to make good decisions because there is no way, we had 2 situations in the last 2 weeks, and nothing within our emergency operations plan was exactly planned for exactly how that situation went. Because you can't. There are too many variables, there are too many possibilities, and which is why when you get into those, it's like, well, what if this had happened? What if this, exactly what if? The what if is we start to play, you go off of good judgment by people who are trained to make those calls. And so in those scenarios, again, the emergency operations plan is there to put us in that situation, and then we start to discuss how those decisions went and how we can do better for next time. In this situation, there was marked improvement between the one from Thursday the 8th, I think, or 7th, and then the one we had last week, because the day before the Adobe call that we got, we had just debriefed about the Spring Creek Middle call, and so we were very, we just had a practice or an exercise, so to speak, and we just talked about those things, and all the same people that were sitting in this room. This room was filled with people from district personnel to city to county to SROs to just anyone. Wildlife Endow was in here, like the game wardens were in here, like we had people who you would not even expect to be in here. And so really good response the next day. Was much more efficient, and it was, yeah, it went really well. So additionally, after events happen, we also bring in additional supports on the following school day, and sometimes additional days if needed, but usually it's just the following day to provide students with unified messaging, with emotional support if needed, and to help avoid the spread of rumors and misinformation. On that note, it is so important, not only after, the day after, but especially in the moments following when we send out a message to parents saying we are in a lockdown or whatever. Almost before people could even be on the scene, we had already begun to see misinformation about what was going on at the school. There were, I'm not going to repeat them because that only serves to spread things. But people were very confidently posting about what was going on at the school. Our messages that we send out in those moments are very intentionally not vague, but just specific to what the known facts are at the time. At that time there was an allegation of a threat, or a threat was made, and we were in lockdown. And that's really all we can verify for people at that time. And so to say anything beyond that is very likely misinformation without knowing all the facts. And so oftentimes people want to know the facts, but we can't confirm those facts until they're confirmed. And so I know it's hard to, especially as your children are involved. Been there, and I will be there again, I'm sure, unfortunately. But in those moments, we have to be careful not to spread misinformation and to allow the people who are excellent at their job to do their job excellently. And it's also really important to stay away from the school during those times. I can't stress that enough. You are not helping anything by showing up at the school. We don't show up at the school. They've asked us to, anyone who isn't necessary in that situation needs to stay away from the school, and that includes me, that includes Ray, Cody, and Seth. Seth's got to coordinate a lot of transportation, but Seth does that from his office somewhere else because it's not helpful for Seth to be at a scene like that. So anyway, I'm probably gone on too much, but I do want to reiterate that we do have plans. We do follow them. We do debrief after to make sure we can do better next time. And the last thing I want to do is to decry the awful, what I know no other word other than to say terrorism that occurs every time that happens. I know it may sound hyperbolic, but you are a terrorist if you call in a bomb threat to a school, or you call in that you are going to shoot up the school. Like, I don't know a better word for it than that. So I
can think of a couple, but I'm not going to say them in this room.
Yeah. Not those kinds of words. That's what it is. And I think energy that is spent on criticizing people who are working on a moment's notice to try to mitigate a really terrible situation could be better spent towards criticizing the terrorism and working with your community members to make the situation better. So that is what I will end there, and I'll move on to the next thing, which is a happy thing, and that is our Elko County School District Portrait of a Learner. We had another learning progressions meeting today. They're starting to look really great. They're in good shape. We still are gonna keep working on them into the fall, because pretty soon here are the teachers that are essential to that are going to be off contract, and so we will resume that activity in the fall. But it's setting us up really great for follow-up after we do professional development in the summer regarding our portrait. So that's awesome. Really appreciate all those teachers. I even saw a couple teachers, one who was on maternity leave, who had joined the call because she still wanted to participate in the development of those progressions. So really appreciate all them. And just as a reminder, those competencies are for our students to become capable communicators, creative problem solvers, responsible and engaged learners, and trustworthy leaders. That is what we have collectively decided and know that our students need to be successful no matter where they go in life, whether that's to be a fisherman or to be, President of the United States. You're gonna need those qualities wherever you go. Had a great meeting today with, this is kind of a follow-up from a previous topic and something I know you're interested in. Had a great meeting with Vince McLeod from Battleborn Youth Challenge Academy today, and I know some of you have met with him individually as well. Vince asked me as I walked out of his office today to make sure you know that we had a great meeting today, and we all want the same thing. We just need to make sure that we do it in a way that can both benefit the students over there at Battleborn Youth Challenge Academy, as well as not be a financial burden to the school district. And so we are working actively and collaboratively to make that happen. We'll continue to work on that together. But some people were somewhat alarmed when he came here last time, and there's nothing to be alarmed about. We're just working through how we can make that be mutually beneficial and not detrimental to anybody. And I appreciate his leadership over there. By way of information, going into this next year, I'm going to continue to be NAS, that's our superintendent's organization for Nevada. I'm going to continue to be one of the AASA representatives from Nevada. They've also asked me to fill Adam Young, who is retiring, fill his spot on the Committee on Innovation and Excellence in Education. That's the CIEE. So I'm going to be doing that and represent both our school district as well as really all of our counties, and the good work that Adam has been doing with that committee. So I don't know if that's like congratulations or condolences or whatever, but like
Welcome to the commission.
Oh yeah, you're on
It's a
it
fun
too.
one,
That's right. Yeah. So I'm there too, Teresa. Sorry, you see me. Let's see. We had our internal capital improvement committee meeting last week, and the AB 519 oversight panel meeting is next week. We have a really good working document of our upcoming CIP, which is Capital Improvement Plan, and we have some more tweaks we want to make to it before we present it to our oversight panel. But that we got some great feedback from from some of our committee members and appreciate that. We're going to continue to work on that. Today, hot off the presses, we awarded two of our, I'm sort of spoiling a little bit of a surprise here, but it's not really too big of a surprise, it's just your surprise. The two of our teachers of the year were announced today. So at Northside Elementary, Abigail Parkin, an EL teacher, was named the Elko County School District Teacher of the Year for her amazing efforts, both as a teacher and as a leader of that campus. So congratulations to Abigail. And then Ernie Mendez, longtime science teacher at Spring Creek Middle School, was recognized as one of our 2 STEM Teachers of the Year. And we've got 1 more STEM Teacher of the Year to acknowledge, and I won't ruin that surprise. And all of these folks will be invited to a future board meeting to be acknowledged here for you as well. 2 more quick acknowledgements. Aaron Fisher, one of our school psychologists who's been with the district as a school psych for a little over 20 years, if I'm not mistaken, has been named as our next Director of Special Services. So looking forward to Aaron's leadership in the Special Services Department. And a little bit of a sad face announcement. Megan Cox, our grant manager, is going to be no longer working for our district in about a day or so, 2 days. So she had a wonderful opportunity somewhere else where to be closer to family. I guess I don't need to get into her business too much, but we're going to lose Megan, and we are actively seeking a new grants manager. Jeff told me I told Megan she could not leave, but it turns out I'm not allowed to do that. So Cody tried to, and it didn't work. It didn't work. She didn't buy it. So we're going to be sad to lose Megan. And then, just so many great things going on the last couple of weeks. I mentioned earlier about our athletics teams doing such a great job. Students, I was just literally during this meeting, I was at an awards ceremony, and I think I've got more to attend this week for my kids as well. Our kids are doing an exceptional job, achieving at every level, and super proud of them. And so I want to congratulate all our students on their great athletic seasons and on all their other accomplishments. Cody and I didn't burn the building down last night when we cooked for the Elko High School Senior Sunset event, so that was great. I burnt my hand a little bit, but not the building, so we're okay. But it's such a great time of year, and I'm so grateful for all the students. I'm grateful for the staff members who teach our kids. I'm grateful for a lot of things, and I'm going to go on to the next thing so I don't lose composure. And then just FYI, today and tomorrow, I think as well, we have a marketing group called Roads Branding, and they're here in our district at Elko High School, Spring Creek High, and Carlin combined this week, and they're doing some filming for a marketing campaign developed to highlight dual credit pathways available through ECSD and GBC. So our collaboration there. So our teachers, our students, our industry partners are being interviewed, and classrooms are being filmed for B-roll. The campaign's going to launch next school year, and we were able to pay for this through the Perkins grant. Perkins, it says 25. I've never heard it called that before. Perkins 25 Reserve Grant Funding. So we're not spending general funds on marketing. We are doing that through grant funding. But it feels like anytime we're in this room, we're talking about the amazing things that are happening in CTE and our collaborations with our community partners. And it's what matters. It's what you've identified as so important to our district and our kids and their futures, and it's moving forward. And so despite some difficulties that we experience in different ways, we are keeping on with what we know is important to us and with what our mission is. So you were right to question if I'd be a while, because I talked for a while, but that is everything that I have prepared for you today.
Well, I was actually afraid if we had the break, you would then go for a while, but it was worth the rest. That was a great report. Thank you.
Yep.
Does anyone have anything for the superintendent? All right. Thank you very much for that. We will move forward now to our NASB update, item 6.01. Trustee Neal, do you have anything?
I don't.
Only thing I have to share would be I was part of a call with the Pacific region with the National Association of School Boards We talked a little bit about planning. There's going to be a meeting I'll be attending in October in Seattle with the Pacific region. And we talked a little bit about that, but I like where that's headed. We talked a little bit about one of the issues that came up was training. And we had talked about that with NASB earlier in this last meeting on how we can possibly open that up. We even talked about charter schools and how some of the training opportunities that we offer we might want to open those up to there. But then it came up in that call that it might even be possible to do statewide. For example, I live right next to Utah, and if they have things, so we're talking about a collaborative effort possibly to get all the trainings that these different states offer. And if you just happen to be there or want to go and take it, we're trying to open that up so we can get some more professional development going. I believe that's all I have regarding NASB. So I will move now to 6.02, which is review and discussion regarding NASB award nominations. You want to take that one?
Sure. What I thought we could do tonight, because as you have said before, we have plenty of time, is just if you have some names, let's just get all the names put out there and then we can decide, because we can't choose every name. Some are limited to 2 or 1, and just get all of our ideas out there first, and then we can, either at the next meeting or the meeting after that, we can decide for sure who we want to choose, if that sounds okay. Did any of you have time to give some names? I have some ideas myself.
I'd love to hear them.
Oh, okay.
I think we could probably open this up too, to where we submit them and then just have that list ready to kind of choose from.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead and open it up. I'd love to hear what you got.
For the media award, I have Lori Gilbert.
Uh-huh.
That's the only one I had on that one.
Got a second over here? A
For
non-voting second.
Innovative Educator of the Year, a suggestion was Joshua Despain from Wendover Elementary. But it'd be nice to have some other choices.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys want to think about, like if you have some other ones, that would be great. And if it's allowed, you can email them to me and I can put them on a list, or they can go to Hillary, whatever's the right thing to do. The award to a friend of K-12 public education, I have several. I had the Elko Federal Credit Union, Nevada Gold Mine, Home Depot, and Tricia Webb from CIS are the ones I hear a lot, but I know there's certainly many others.
I'd add into that, and I think I brought it up before, but it didn't feel like it fit the criteria that they were asking for before. If it does now, maybe. But Big O Tires and the Chuck Peterson family, they do a lot for our schools.
Okay.
I'd like to add to that our, I don't want to even use the wrong company, but the folks that helped out with the intramural sports.
Well, one of them was the Peppermill and the other was unnamed, so.
Okay, I was going to say Peppermill, but then I was like, you know what? I've been in casino business too long that I had 15 names floating through my head, so yes.
For School Administrator of the Year, I wanted to throw out Travis.
Wait.
Oh, sorry.
Are we
Go
done
ahead.
with this one?
Sorry, I thought you were taking a shotgun approach.
Okay. Now you can. Which one did you say?
Administrator of the Year. One that popped in my head was Travis Monet over at Flagview. He's taken that crew through thick and thin all year and held them together and been just amazing over there. And I think that deserves a look.
And I also have Jeff Revere and Jessica Harris. I wrote down those two.
I was gonna throw Travis's name out there also, and from the emails and talking to teachers up there, they just sing his praises. His staff up there really feels like he does so much to support them and make that school what it is.
Anyone have anything else? That one, it says 1 or 2, so that's maybe I better keep track of which ones we've done. We also have individual school board member of the year. Just trying to look at if there's,
On the veteran school board member, I'd like to throw Teresa's name in there.
well, this one's individual.
Right.
So there's not a,
Three, yeah, there's.
New veteran and
Individual is
individual.
overall, and then you have, new, and you have,
veteran.
There's
This one
three
doesn't
total.
have a, oh, wait, yes, it does. I thought there was something. Okay, this one over of the course, more than 2 terms of service.
Which the only one on our board is Teresa that qualifies for that.
Right.
Let's throw her in for both.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I agree.
Technically, none of us have served a 4-year term yet.
And that's asking for 2 terms. That's
Right.
Yeah.
2
And
terms.
and the veteran is 1 4-year term.
Right.
So some of us are almost there, but yeah.
End of the year.
Let me find that one. Yeah, veteran was more than 1 complete 4-year term. So technically, Matt, you guys have started your 2nd term.
But it's not been a 4-year term yet.
Yeah, but for veteran, it says who have served more than 1 complete 4-year term. You've served 1.
We haven't done the 4-year term though.
It breaks up when you're reelected, so you're appointed for a year and then you're elected for the next term. And we're
Right.
in our 4th year, but it doesn't complete till the end of the year.
Right. That's what I was saying is that we're almost there, but not quite.
So Teresa for that one.
So I'd
too.
say we, do Teresa for both.
Okay.
Let's stack the, that's right. And a very worthy option at that. Thank you. But yeah, let's stack
You did that
deck.
on purpose, didn't you, Teresa? And then new school board member is 1st term of service. And if you want to think about it a little longer, that's
I
fine.
think there's several we could put in for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, is there a limit to how many we can put in?
It must be just 1 because they didn't say. Normally they say 1 or 2 or whatever. This one doesn't say anything, so it must be 1.
I really don't think they'd mind multiple,
I think the committee does.
do they?
Being on the committee, possibly, yes.
I didn't mean to speak for you there, but
I can ask Rick, though, just to double check.
yeah. I think it goes without saying, we nominate our superintendent and our administrative assistant
Yeah,
here.
I can't sing Hillary's praises
yeah.
enough.
Okay. I think I already had Hillary down. Yep. And then governance team of the year, we can put ourselves in if you'd like.
Yes, let's do. And while you're at it, put yourself down there as NASB Director of the Year. That's my nomination. You've been doing a heck of a job.
Thank you.
You attend every meeting, you come complete with notes, you're always prepared. So it's been a pleasure attending those with you.
Stop.
I'll
you.
sing your praises all day. You've been amazing.
You're making me blush. Okay, and then we have district level administrator of the year. And this one we can nominate 2. But like I said, we can put everybody's name in if you'd like. Or you can think about it. That's fine. School district employee making a difference. There were suggestions for Sarah Jolly and Heather Howes. And if you have other suggestions, that's,
Yeah. Hillary, can we put an email together with each of these categories and then send it out for us? And then what I'll do is I'll put this on the agenda for next meeting to where we actually narrow that down and make some assignments on who's doing some writing.
or you can do it the next
You wanna do it
meeting
the
after
following,
that,
in
like the
July?
last- Isn't there 2 in June?
Oh, yeah,
So
we
could
do
it
have
the
2.
second meeting in June. And Hillary, I'll put the email together with this stuff that I have on and send it to you so that you don't have to do my work. Okay,
I'd say it
thank you.
probably goes without saying. It's
Could
already
you write
done.
up the
That's why
nomination
you're
for
on.
yourself too, please?
That's why you're
Yeah.
on there. It's already done.
Yeah, Hillary, are you done with your nomination? And we'll just add it.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
That is
Thanks,
fun.
everyone.
So we'll look for that to come back on June 16th.
Great, thank you.
Okay. All right, almost there, folks. We're at 6.03, board member comments and requests for future agenda items. Does anyone have anything?
I'll quickly go. So yesterday, we went out to Sage Elementary. They invited us to come out. I need to just find the email. They invited us to come out to an awards ceremony for kids who passed off their Great Nevadan and their Great American. And they were awarded for that. And the Great Nevadan, there were, do you know how many kids there were, Susan? There were a lot. And those were the 4th grade students that did the Great Nevadan project, and they had to identify Nevada's location, statehood date, and order of admission, memorize state symbols, bird, animal, fish, fossil, reptile, flower, tree, motto, and slogan, recite all Nevada governors in order, perform the state song, and they had to sing that or recite it in front of everybody all on their own without any help. Drawing the state flag from memory, memorizing all 16 counties and county seats, creating a detailed map of Nevada with key physical and human features, and writing an essay on the significance of Nevada. And they shared from each of their 4th grade classes, they shared 2 of those essays. And I was so impressed with the kids and the things that they were able to research and learn about Nevada. And as a Nevada girl my whole life, it was awesome to see them proud to be a Nevadan. And then for 5th grade, they had the Great American Award, and 5 students were able to earn that. And the reason why only 5 earned that, and they said they had a bunch that were close but didn't get quite there, is the list of things that they had to do in order to earn that award was huge. I think they just list a few of them in this email, and I wished I would have taken a picture of the items that they had up there, but they had to memorize all 50 states and capitals, all U.S. presidents in order, the Gettysburg Address, the preamble to the Constitution. They had to pass the citizenship test with a 90% or better, which they said was 100 questions. Can you remember? The list was way longer than that. Susan has it, but 5 kids were able to earn that award. And it was, and that's just, there's a lot more for that Great American Award. It was really impressive, and I just wanted to give a shout out to those students, and I would love if we could invite those 5 students that passed off that Great American Award, if we could invite them in to be recognized in a board meeting. It's write the Pledge of Allegiance with no spelling or punctuation errors, recite or sing the first verse of the national anthem, correctly answer 90% correct the questions on the United States citizenship test, identify the 50 states on the map, match the 50 states and capitals, recite from memory in order of presidency the presidents of the United States, first and last names, recite the preamble of the United States Constitution, and recite the Gettysburg Address. And that's all from memory. So I would like to see maybe that added to an agenda and have those kids come in and be recognized. But that was a really great thing. And Mrs. Safford met a vet. I think she was out to eat, and she got talking to a veteran there, and he was talking about, he's the guy that, do you remember his name? He puts up, Mr. Reed, he puts up all the flags in Lamoille every year, and he was talking to her about the 250 flag that he has, and so I thought it was really neat. She invited him to come and be a part of that, and he came and was able to show the kids the 250 flag, the America 250 flag, and was there to hand out awards, and he served in Korea, and anyway, it was really an awesome thing. And Teresa's son was one of the kids that got the Great Nevadan Award. So anyways, I just wanted to thank them for inviting us to that. That was a really, really great thing, and I can't agree more with the teacher who got up and made comment about how it's so important that we're teaching these things in our schools. They should be really proud of themselves after all of that hard work, but I'm sure after learning all of those things, they're also proud to be in this great state. They're proud of their home state and proud of their country that they live in. The other thing that I just wanted to say is I was able to watch Elko's baseball games, and they won state, and that was awesome. I've known a lot of those boys since they were just young, and so that was awesome that they were able to bring that state trophy home. The last time they won that was the Elko won state for baseball was in 1989 when my older brother Mark was on the team his senior year. And so it's been a while, and really proud of them. And also Wells girls softball, I'm pretty sure track. Yeah, they brought home state titles. And then we also have golf, Elko golf won state. So just lots of awesome things happening in our sports here lately, and can't wait to recognize those student athletes and their accomplishments. One thing that I will say is I'm on a text feed because my son plays baseball. And the coach shared a message from the guy who ran the tournament and just complimented Elko's varsity team on how respectful they were, and talked about how, just kind of praised them and talked about how after the game they all came up to thank him for all of his hard work and everything that he did to make that tournament happen. And he just had a lot of good things to say about that team. So it's nice to see him go win state titles like that, but at the same time, just to hear that they're good people and good students, and I thought that was awesome. And I think that's it for me.
I'll try to keep this brief as well. With 6 days of school, I think. Congratulations to our students and personnel for another school year. Look forward to the upcoming commencement exercises. The attendance review committee has not been able to meet since our last Board of Trustees meeting. I want to echo what Superintendent Anderson had said. Thank you very much to our first responders, our emergency responders, and the Elko County School District personnel during the recent emergency responses. I also want to thank the patience of the community members who were impacted. And finally, I appreciate having done debriefs on a much simpler level, the ongoing processes that occur that works to improve the safety of our students, our personnel, and our community. Sorry. And finally, happy Memorial Day. My deepest respect to those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
I'll just say congratulations to all of our student athletes who competed from all around the district. We had some amazing results at state competitions and regional competitions. And to those who are also, our athletes who are also academic champions. It's great to see that. And good luck to everyone on the last few days of school. Lots of award ceremonies and everything else up ahead of us, and excited for summer, and excited to see all of the accomplishments that our students have brought out in front of everybody in award ceremonies and graduation ceremonies. So that is all.
Yeah, Trustee Neal.
Nothing interesting, the first part. It was to me, though. State Board of Education meeting last week, just a couple items of interest. One was a discussion on raising the developmental delay age to 8 or 9 instead of 6, which it is now. They did surveys. They had quite a bit of data compared to, they didn't have anything really before. Looks like it will probably happen. I don't know the exact age yet. There wasn't, that wasn't chosen yet, but there was quite a bit of support for it. And then there was also a discussion on read by grade 3 on the 28-29 school year implementation of 3rd grade retention. The board, we have to decide retention passing scores and approve an alternative examination and passing scores. Students are going to receive interventions and continue receiving those services until they meet certain criteria, meaning if they're retained So I don't know exactly what that's going to look like for staffing and those types of things. But that's in the works, I should say. I also attended a webinar on Clark County's strategic plan presentation. It was just interesting because, like, I guess we all know, even though our districts are really quite different, what they're striving for are the same things we're striving for, just worded differently in their plan. But it was interesting to listen to it. And then I attended at Sage, it was called Mobile Pioneer Trails. And it's a program run by a couple, and we're the first in the county to have the program. It's a hands-on STEM-based educational program to teach state history, and it's basically for fourth graders. And the students spend the day simulating daily challenges, hardships, and adventures of early American settlers. So out in the field, they had all these stations set up, and the kids were churning butter. They were pulling a hand cart. They were cutting wood. They were washing clothes the old-fashioned way. And someone said they were having fun. I was like, try doing that for an extended period of time. But it was good. And they were branding. They had someone there to help them to brand a piece of wood. They were practicing roping a calf. They had a bow and arrow hunting. So it was a lot of fun to watch them do that. And they seemed to really enjoy that experience. And I just said I would mention out loud that if any of the schools are interested, like she does a lot of like schools getting together. So for instance, in-town schools like Graham or Northside just getting together and kind of pooling it cost-wise, because Sage did get some help paying for that program. It's not free. But so if any school out there is interested, I have their contact information, or I'm sure if you contact Principal Harris at Sage, she would tell you to. But it really was pretty fun. The Adobe Middle School Carnival had a great turnout for their first time. That was fun to see too. I went to a Carlin band concert. That was a good one. Our students tonight that presented from Spring Creek Elementary, I got to see their whole program. And oh my gosh, it was fantastic. They were all in costume, not just the two tonight. They had sets, their props. Mrs. Pope said every year somebody donates more and more, so they have all these props. But they did a great job. They had their lines memorized and their singing, and the young lady tonight had a solo. So it was a really good concert. And one of the cool things for me was I got to sit right next to Mrs. Pope, and I've never sat that close to the director of all of that and been that up close. And it was really fascinating how she ran things and held up her numbers. And so I was fascinated by that as well. And you've already mentioned the award ceremony, the Teacher of the Year, our sports teams. Thank you to our student member tonight, Ms. Curtis. And then for a workshop or agenda item or something, I'm not sure how you want to put it, I think we should think about updating our goals and trying to align them more to the district and the state in a different manner in the future. And I would also like an update on superintendent's doctorate program, because we haven't heard much about that, or are you finished, or that kind of thing for the next time. So, thanks.
Thank you. Ms. Curtis, do you have anything for us?
No, not that I can think of,
Okay.
but I'm really glad that I was able to come. I appreciate the opportunity.
And I want to start by saying then, thank you for being here, Makenna. You were great, and the input you provided and sticking it out with us. We really appreciate having you here and your perspective.
Thank you.
I'm going to tell you, I've been inspired by Trustee McCarty in his Facebook posts. He's thankful for 3 things every day. And so in that note today, I am thankful for, first off, our student board member coming in and participating. I'm thankful for the board that I serve with and the administrators that we serve with. You guys, if you look back and look at these meetings and like even just what happened today, the depth, the study, the work that everybody puts in, the questions we ask, it's clear that while we may not be the best in the world, but we're sure doing our best. And I thought back to like when we got recognized as board governance team
a year or two ago. And this is why. This is because of what we do, because of what you do with NAS, what we do with NASB, how we're trying to affect change, not only here in a local level, but on a state level. And so I'm just so proud of you guys. And the third thing I'm thankful for is what you talked about in that we're doing some marketing, trying to highlight CTE and the different pathways. And that's something I've been thinking about quite a bit, because the product that we're putting out as a district, we're having issues with enrollment, with people going to homeschool, with people going to charter schools and the like. And it's maybe because they don't like the product that we're selling right now. And so to see things moving in that direction where we're highlighting those opportunities for real world experience and real world training, it shows that the public school here is offering something good, and that it is something that people want to be a part of. So I'd like to see that continue. I was real happy to hear that. And I will get off the soapbox on that one and finish that out. Just thank you, everybody. And so with that, I will go to our last item of the night, item 7.01, which would be input from the public. Come on. Same rules apply, you know 'em. Yeah.
Lynn Hoffman, and I'm only saying something because
Oh, it went off. Press the green. Sorry to interrupt.
I've been here so long, so many times. So number one, I'm hoping that there is a NASB award for the person who spends the most time warming a seat somewhere in the audience, number one. Number two, it was such a fun meeting. I love the stuff at the beginning. Number three, and I wasn't going to say this publicly, but Brooke, did you really say 16 counties? So I'm going to say I hope that they figured out who actually knew there were 17 counties and not 16. I wonder about some of the rest of the answers now. And if we're going to have 16 counties, which county do we want to leave out? I'm going to vote for Clark County, but I don't know about any of the rest of you. Anyway, thank you. It was a great meeting.
Thank you.
And I know I'm not supposed to respond to public comment, but since my child was one of those working on the counties, I promise he got them all.
I read 16 counties. I was just going through it, but Susan and I both pointed that out at the meeting yesterday. There's 17. I think it was just a typo on what was listed. Yeah.
Well, and I think technically Carson City is an entire incorporated city for the entire county. I agree with that. I'm
It's
just
still
saying that
counted
may
as
have
the
been where that was.
17th county. And I'm also wondering, they weren't asked about the state drink, the pecan punch.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
They're a little young for that.
Thank you. Is there any further public comment? All right, hearing none, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.